A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Good evening, Creed. Welcome once again to Mr. Pleasure. Tonight our stage has been taken over by The Crime Photographer, written by Alonzo Dean Cole, and based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Horman Cox, and played by Stat Cotsworth. Casey, ace cameraman of the Morning Express, covered the crime news of a great city. His adventure for tonight, the reunion.
About 9 o'clock in the evening, a luxurious suite in our city's most expensive hotel. One of its present occupants is a strikingly beautiful woman. In her hands is the latest fashion magazine, but she stares at it without interest.
Irene?
Yes, Ruth?
You haven't turned a page in that magazine for half an hour.
I've been thinking.
Oh, Irene, why don't you put him out of your mind?
If a man had done to you what my husband has tried to do to me, could you drive it from your mind?
Oh, yes, I know.
I made Kurt a success. He was just a poor weakling when I met him. I made him a great sculptor. I made him rich and famous. Now he's repaid me. But he's not going to get away with it.
Your lawyers will see to that, Irene. They told you they can nullify that divorce Kurt got from you.
When I think of the rottenness of it,
don't anymore.
Ruth, when you and I were in South America, the tip Kurt persuaded me to take for my health. All the while he was establishing residence out of this state to divorce me for abandonment. Then when we came home 4 days ago, we find he's been granted his divorce.
And rotten, dear, so rotten.
And he was preparing to marry another woman. That Bixby woman.
He's contemptible. Filthy, loathsome. Oh, when I think of it, I want to kill him.
I don't want to kill him, Ruth. I want to keep him.
Keep him?
Yes.
What?
No other woman's going to have him. Tomorrow I'm going to sign the papers for the nullification of the divorce, and Will you answer that, Ruth?
Certainly.
Say I'm not here.
All right. Hello? Mrs. Walter isn't here. I'm Miss Chandler, her cousin. Who is this? Hold the line a minute. It's a man, Irene. He insists that he's got to talk to you.
Who is he?
His voice sounds a little like your husband.
Kurt?
Yes.
All right.
Here.
Hello, this is Mrs. Walter. Oh. All right, wait a minute. Ruth, will you please go into the bedroom and shut the door?
Well, yes, of course.
Don't be angry with me. I'll tell you all about it later. Hello? Oh, Ruth, forgive me for sending you out of the room.
Irene!
I'm going out. You've got to help me dress in the prettiest things I have. Thank heaven my hair was decently done today.
Say, what is this? Was it Kurt?
No, it wasn't Kurt. Darling, hand me that cold cream jar.
Here. What other man is making you dress in your best? And you've changed completely since that telephone call, Irene.
You'll just have to restrain your curiosity. And for several days. I don't expect to come back here tonight or tomorrow night.
What?
Maybe I won't come back for a week.
Why?
But don't worry, Ruth, and don't try to find me. I'm going to be happy again, dear. Altogether happy.
What is it? Hello?
Hey, this is Anne.
Who?
Anne Williams.
Nobody but that name here. You got the wrong number.
Hey, wait a minute.
What? Huh?
Wake up, you dope. Wake up.
Annie, huh?
Now he knows it.
What's the big idea of phoning at this hour?
Right, Donald, listen. You've heard me speak of Ruth Chandler.
Have I?
Yes, you have. She went to college with me. And she's a cousin of the rich and very beautiful Mrs. Kurt Bolton.
You mean the wife of the big sculptor?
Indeed Indeed, I do. Now, listen, Ruth phoned me a few minutes ago and told me that Mrs. Walter disappeared 10 days ago and has not been heard from since.
Yeah?
Yes. Ruth hasn't notified the cops yet, so we're getting first in on what may be a good story.
Well, give me all the dope, Annie.
Give you. Ruth will tell us the story as soon as we get to the hotel.
Oh, okay, Annie. I'll pick you up in about 20 minutes.
Mr. Casey, Irene left this suite on Friday night, 10 days ago, at about 10 o'clock. And that's the last I've seen or heard from her.
Yes, but Ruth, listen, Mrs. Walter told you that she might be away for a week. Now, maybe she's just staying wherever she is a little longer than she intended.
But she's not where I thought she was going then.
Miss Chandler, you figured that Mrs. Walter was joining her husband for a reunion.
It was the only thing I could figure, Mr. Casey. Until just before I phoned you this morning, I learned there hasn't been any reunion.
You went to Walter's home?
Yes. I talked to Mrs. Royce, his housekeeper. She told me that during the past 10 days, Kurt has been working almost constantly in his studio. It's attached to the house. And that Irene hasn't been there.
Sure she told you the truth?
Positive. She and I are old friends. She wouldn't lie to me. Mr. Casey, do you think I should ask the police to look for Irene?
No, I wouldn't. You know how women feel who've just been separated from their husbands. Maybe she just... Well, she might be. To say, is this photograph on the piano a picture of your cousin?
It is.
Mm-hmm. This was taken some time ago.
About 15 years ago, soon after her marriage, at the time she was posing for the statue that made her husband famous.
The sleeping goddess?
You know about it?
Yeah. I've seen copies of the original. I kind of like sculptures and paintings. So Mrs. Walter modeled for it, eh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Annie, this face isn't just beautiful. It's got power in it, real power.
It has that, all right.
No photograph can do Irene full justice. She has the most wonderful hair, Mr. Casey. True golden hair.
Yes, Anne told me about that.
And I've seen Kurt go into temperamental rages because he's a sculptor and not a painter. He couldn't reproduce her hair in bronze or marble, of course.
Miss Chandler, when you talked to his housekeeper this morning, did you ask her where Walter was on the Friday night your cousin left here?
Mrs. Royce remembered that he'd worked in his studio all that night until about 8 o'clock in the morning. He was doing some noisy construction work on a mold.
Well, did she see him working there?
No. He never permits anyone in the studio when he's working.
Then he could have gone out for a while.
Mr. Casey, I believe you have the same awful idea that I have. That Kurt might have slipped out of the studio unseen, met Irene somewhere, and killed her.
Did you let this Mrs. Royce know of your suspicions?
No. I even asked her not to tell anybody that I'd been out to see her this morning. I don't know why. I just did.
Good. I'd like to talk to Walter before he knows a search has been started for Mrs. Walter. I just might catch him off guard. Just might. Well, let's go, Annie.
Mr. Walter will see you and this lady, Mr. Casey. He's in his studio. Please come this way.
Oh, thank you. You're Mrs. Royce, aren't you?
Yes. How did you know my name? Oh, Ruth Chandler told us all about you. Here we are.
Come in.
The lady and gentleman from the Morning Express, Mr. Walter. Miss Williams and Mr. Casey.
It's a great pleasure to know you.
How do you do, Mr. Walter?
Walter, it was nice of you to let us barge in on you like this.
I'm always glad to receive newspaper people. You know, I have a special regard for the Morning Express. Its art editor has always been very flattering about my work. He sent you here, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We're from the art department. Will you want anything, Mr. Walter?
No, thank you, Mrs. Royce. You can go. Well, sit down, Miss Williams.
Thank you.
Casey. Thank you. Have a cigarette?
Yes, I'd like one.
Mr. Casey?
Much obliged.
I will join you.
I have a match right here ready. Here you are.
Fine. Thank you.
Mr. Walter?
Thanks. No, please. Do not light your own with that, Mr. Casey. Not three on the match.
Okay, since you're superstitious.
You see, I was born in Europe. In a little mountain village where people still believe in witchcraft, ghosts, and omens. I'm afraid my many years in this enlightened country have not completely eradicated my early teaching.
I see. This is an enormous studio you have.
Yes, we sculptors require a great deal of room.
Yeah. See, this plaster model of your sleeping goddess must be over 8 feet long. Mm-hmm. It's certainly a masterpiece. I never saw the original.
You are looking at the original now.
I thought that was somewhere in Germany.
I must explain my method of working. First, like all sculptors, I make a wax or clay model of my conception. But when it is only roughly complete, I take from it a mold and then make a casting of plaster. On the plaster cast, I carve my finishing touches. Another mold is then taken for the final casting of metal. This model provided the final mold.
It's a true original, then.
Yes. It's now almost priceless. You see, its bronze replica was destroyed by a bomb during the war.
This really is worth plenty, then.
Many consider it my greatest work.
I understand the model who posed for it was your wife.
Yes. She is now my ex-wife. We are divorced.
Yeah? Well, if she looked like this sleeping goddess, she was certainly some woman.
More like a goddess than a woman. She had the most wonderful hair in the world. But it was not of this world. Let us not talk of her.
Okay. Hey. When did you make this plaster model, Mr. Volter?
14, 15 years ago. Why?
The head feels damp, like fresh plaster.
The head? That cannot be.
Feel it.
It is not damp. What do you say, Miss Williams?
Feels stone dry to me, Casey.
Huh? Yeah. Funny. When I first touched it, it felt cold and clammy. Like death.
Death?
Yeah. I see you don't have to go through your house to get in or out of this studio, Mr. Volter. There's a door leading directly outside.
Yes. But will the story you and Miss Williams do about me concern this sort of thing?
Well, hey, we must be getting to that story, yes. We want to hear about your most recent work, Mr. Volter.
My current work is this group here.
Oh, hey, that's a bigger hunk of plaster than the goddess.
That what you call hunk of plaster will bring me $30,000 when cast in bronze.
Wow. You're in a good business. What do you call this group?
I call it the Reunion.
The Reunion?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It is a symbolic conception.
When did you cast that plaster?
Why, just 10 days ago. I set up my mold and worked all night.
All Friday night?
It was a Friday night.
And you call it the Reunion.
Here, Casey, the story you've just been telling me adds up to nothing more right now than a case for the Missing Persons Bureau. I'm a homicide cop.
My hunch says this is a homicide case, Logan.
Well, I have the same feeling, Captain. So have I.
This police department can't take the drastic action you propose on the strength of mere hunches and feelings.
I haven't proposed any drastic action, Logan, until after a thorough routine missing persons search has been made for Mrs. Volter. If she isn't found alive or dead within a reasonable length of time, well, I've told you where to look.
You believe that she went to Walter's studio in response to his phone call through the door that leads there directly from outside, and he let her in, killed her,
and hid her body in the mold he was setting up that night. Then he surrounded it with plaster. I think you'll find Mrs. Volter is in the model he so symbolically calls the Reunion.
Casey? Hi, Hiya, Miss Williams.
Hi, Ethelbert.
Hello.
I ain't seen you two all day. What do you have to drink?
Oh, give me a cup of coffee.
Gee, Casey, you must be feeling low. What are your troubles?
We can put them in 3 little words, Ethelbert. The Volta case.
Say, why don't the cops quit stalling on that? They're never going to find Mrs. Walter till they look in the place you told them to, Casey.
Today, they did look for her in the place I told them to.
You mean?
Yes. I was wrong.
Mrs. Volta's body was not in the plaster model of Reunion.
In order to find that out, Logan's men had to bore holes in the model, and they broke it all up. Now Volta's going to sue the city for $30,000 he claims it was worth, plus additional damages for I don't know how. Oh, his lawyers are drawing up a swell bill of goods.
Sure, and the worst of it is he's pretty sure to win his suit.
Logan will probably lose his job on account of it. He gave the order to bore into the statue on the strength of my hunch.
Gee.
The poor sap trusted me because, well, by sheer dumb luck, I've given him a couple of good steers in the past. This time I let him down for fair. And
Oh, Casey, he doesn't blame you.
yeah, I know that. Look, don't ever tell the big dope I said this, but Logan's a pretty swell egg.
Because Mrs. Walter's body wasn't hid in that statue, does it mean her husband's now in the clear?
Sure does.
Yeah?
The only place he could have hidden her body was inside the freshly poured plaster of that Reunion model.
Wait a minute, Miss Williams. Couldn't he have hidden the body in a closet or someplace around the house and then sneaked it out later?
No, Ethelbert. Mrs. Royce and her cleaning women would have found it.
Oh, of course not. And there's only one other model in the studio large enough to hide a human body in, and that was cast 15 years ago.
Those plaster castings have a hollow core.
Oh, so what, Casey? To have even gotten the body inside the sleeping goddess, Walter would have had to cut a big hole in the old plaster and then afterward patch it up with fresh stuff, which would show
The
you.
head of the sleeping goddess, it felt cold, damp, like fresh plaster that day.
Didn't to me, Casey. And you said it didn't to you either after a minute.
Yeah, that's so. It's funny, that's what started my hunch about Mrs. Walter being buried in plaster. When her husband said he'd cast that reunion piece on the night she... Annie. I doped the guy all wrong. He was smarter than I thought.
What are you talking
That
about?
reunion model was only a planned decoy. He put her inside the sleeping goddess. Then he deliberately led you and me and the cops to believe her body was in the reunion model. And now that we've found she isn't there...
Oh!
Aha, you've got it. The city stands to lose $30,000 plus for that mistake. No sane cop is going to take a chance like that again.
Casey, if you're right...
If he's right, Ethelbert, Mr. Kurt Walter is going to get away with murder.
Yeah.
Say, Casey, why don't you sneak into that studio on a dark night, bust open that statue...
And what if I didn't find the body, Ethelbert? Walter wouldn't bother to sue me. He just had me put away until about 1966.
I got no more suggestions.
I haven't even got a thought.
Wait a minute. I have.
Yeah? What?
And I'm going out to see Mrs. Royce, Walter's housekeeper, and ask her one confidential question.
No, Mr. Casey. Since the night he made that plaster casting of his reunion group, Mr. Walter has never gone into his studio after dark.
I see.
Oh, I thought it rather strange. He used to do so much work in there at night.
Well, thanks, Mrs. Royce.
Why have you asked me about that?
I've been thinking.
I was born in Europe, in a little mountain village where people still believe in witchcraft, ghosts, and omens.
I've sometimes thought Kurt insane on the subject of Irene's hair. He couldn't reproduce it in bronze or marble.
She had the most wonderful hair in the world, but it was not of this world.
Yes, Mrs. Royce, I've just been thinking a kind of crazy thought.
This scheme of yours is absolutely nuts.
Call it a long shot, then, Logan, and play it with me, will you? If it happens to work, you save your job, the town saves at least $30,000, I save my peace of mind, and we'll have the goods on a rotten killer.
Okay, pal, I'll take a chance. Good evening, Mr. Walter.
Good evening, Mr. Walter. It is not evening. It is almost midnight. Why have you insisted upon seeing me at this hour?
Well, it's a kind of peculiar thing, Mr. Walter.
Mr. Walter, do you believe in dreams? Dreams? Yeah, dreams.
Casey here had a very funny dream last night.
Why should I?
It concerns you, Mr. Walter. You see, I dreamed about Mrs. Walter.
My ex-wife?
Uh-huh. I dreamed that she talked to me.
She talked to you?
Yeah. She wasn't like a woman in my dream. She looked like that statue of yours she posed for, the sleeping goddess. She was the goddess, only awake.
Awake?
Uh-huh.
Casey, tell him the funny thing she said to you in your dream.
Okay, Logan, I will. Mr. Walter, she said, I am the goddess awake because my life is in my statue.
She said her life was.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And her hair was the shiny gold color I've heard Mrs. Walter had. So bright. It seemed to have light in it.
Why have you come here to tell me about this?
Because in my dream she told me to come here.
She told you?
Just before midnight, she said.
It's almost that now, Casey. We got to move fast.
Yeah, come on, Walter, into your studio.
Into my studio?
She told Casey to have you there at midnight.
Clock's striking 12 now. Come on, hurry.
No, let me go. How dare you?
She wants you in the studio, Walter, where she's waiting for you.
Waiting for me?
The goddess awake with shiny gold hair.
Don't open that studio door. Don't push me inside.
We're leaving you inside.
And in the dark.
Open this door. Let me out. Light switch does not work. Open this door. Don't leave me alone here in the dark.
You're not alone, Walter. The goddess is awake in there.
No. That golden light. That golden light. Rises. Moves this way. No. Don't come any closer. I'm sorry, Irene. I had to kill you. You ruled me. I've been your slave. The slave of your will. Your golden hand that lost my heart. I had to kill you and hide your body in that sleeping goddess. I had to make you free forever. Don't come any closer. Forgive me.
We've heard enough, Casey.
All we need, Logan. Switch on your flashlight.
Oh, Casey, I'm glad to have some light in here.
You did a swell job, Annie.
I was scared. You know what? I was scared. I didn't like this being a ghost in the dark.
You scared Mr. Kurt Walter a lot more, Miss Williams. He's fainted.
You did?
I figured all he needed was to see the shadow of a woman with a luminous wig rise from behind that plaster statue and walk slowly toward him.
Casey, I'll never do this kind of job again. I'll never do
Wait
it
a
again.
minute. You're trembling, kid. Now, what's the matter?
I don't know. I don't know. You know what happened?
What?
Just at midnight. When you pushed Walter through the door and I went into my act, I got suddenly afraid.
Afraid of Walter?
No, afraid of her.
Annie, what?
Hey,
What was that?
Walter hasn't fainted. He's dead.
Dead?
Yeah.
Dead.
Hey, Miss Williams, you never got very close to him with that blonde wig of yours, did you?
No?
What is it, Logan?
Look at this dead guy's neck, Casey.
A single golden hair is wrapped around it, almost like a noose.
A creep that rings down the curtain on the Mystery Playhouse for tonight. The Reunion, a crime photographer story written by Alonzo Dean Cole, is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Horman Cox. Stats Cotsworth was heard as Casey, and Miss Leslie Woods played Anne. Until next time, creep. Good night. Sleep tight. This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
This I Believe. Aldo Ray is a young motion picture actor. The son of immigrant Italian parents, he and his brothers and sisters grew up on the so-called wrong side of the tracks. In high school and college, he played football and planned to make it a career. A leg injury changed his plans, however, and he decided to go into politics. He got himself elected constable of his hometown of Crockett, California, at the age of 23. His entrance into films was almost accidental. A Hollywood director liked his hoarse voice and engaging smile and persuaded him to try out for a bit part in a film about college football. His next role was a starring one, and he now seems firmly established in pictures. This is Aldo Ray's creed.
I believe in belief in God. My God-given senses assure me that all components of what I know mentally and physically have their origin in God, who is eternally good. Looking for good and expecting the best to happen have been the basic sustenance of my happiness and success, however modest the success may be in comparison with the happiness. I believe in people. I have confidence in them. So that they may have confidence in me and believe in me, I find it best to be honest with myself. Knowing myself has meant to be aware of human frailties as well as positive qualities. When at 23 I ran for constable in my hometown of Crockett, California, the professional politicians I know took me for a stupid kid who didn't know enough to conduct a campaign. But my belief in my friends and their power as a unit and their belief in me won me the office. When Columbia Pictures asked me to attempt an acting career, to which I had never previously given any thought, it seemed to me a positive step to take, though I had felt that my field lay in politics. Many a person assured me that I was taking an awful chance in motion pictures, that my chances of success on the basis of statistics were infinitesimal. But I looked for good and expected the best to happen, and it has. Use of my God-given senses has made life ultra-pleasant. Only when I have thoughtlessly forgotten or pushed aside the common sense God gave me have I found life momentarily ungratifying. I thank God I have not yet made life ungratifying to anyone else on more than a temporary basis. In my few years of life I have had more than my share of happiness and success, and it has all come since I found myself having faith in people and people having faith in me. This has given me peace of mind. I do not believe there is any gap between success and happiness and peace of mind. They are all one vintage. Too many persons I know are wrought up in nervousness and apprehension, making big problems out of absolutely nothing, unable to cope with life living, for some reason unknown to me, with a fear that God and people mean them harm. Life has many rewards to offer, but to me, the greatest is the knowledge that I have been a positive influence. I can think of no finer feeling than to see people finding an inspiration or belief in life which I may have fostered by words or actions. What greater thrill than to have given someone knowledge or skill? Teaching a child to swim, or even teaching an adult how to keep a box score, or how to do any number of things has kept my heart from being heavy. I'm sure we all have knowledge or skills which, properly used, would make so many other people's lives happier and more complete. Life has given me so much more than I have yet given it. I feel I have a long and wonderful road ahead of me. I want to give as much as I can, fulfilling my obligation to foster success and happiness wherever and whenever possible. The success and happiness which women, children, men, and God have given so much of to me. This I believe.
They're the beliefs of Aldo Ray, a young Hollywood star with a fresh, unconventional outlook on life.
And now, this I Believe. Here is Edward Armorow.
This I Believe. Aldous Huxley is a prolific writer. He has described himself as an essayist, an amateur philosopher who writes novels. Like his famous grandfather, T.H. Huxley, his thinking has left an indelible impression on his time. Among his novels are such modern classics as Point Counterpoint, and Brave New World. This is what Aldous Huxley believes.
In every one of the higher religions, there is a strain of infinite optimism on the one hand, and on the other, of a profound pessimism. In the depths of our being, they all teach, there is an inner light, but an inner light which our egotism keeps for most of the time in a state of more or less complete eclipse. If, however, it so desires, the ego can get out of the way, so to speak, can diseclipse the light and become identified with its divine source. Hence the unlimited optimism of the traditional religions. Their pessimism springs from the observed fact that though all are called, few are chosen, for the sufficient reason that few choose to be chosen. To me, this older conception of man's nature and destiny seems more realistic, more nearly in accord with the given facts than any form of modern utopianism. In the Lord's Prayer we are taught to ask for the blessing which consists in not being led into temptation. The reason is only too obvious. When temptations are very great or unduly prolonged, most persons succumb to them. To devise a perfect social order is probably beyond our powers, but I believe that it is perfectly possible for us to reduce the number of dangerous temptations to a level far below that which is tolerated at the present time. A society so arranged that there shall be a minimum of dangerous temptations, this is the end towards which, as a citizen, I have to strive. In my efforts to achieve that end, I can make use of a great variety of means. Do good ends justify the use of intrinsically bad means? On the level of theory, the point can be argued indefinitely. In practice, meanwhile, I find that the means employed invariably determine the nature of the end achieved. Indeed, as Mahatma Gandhi was never tired of insisting, the means are the end in its preliminary stages. Men have put forth enormous efforts to make their world a better place to live in. But except in regard to gadgets, plumbing and hygiene, their success has been pathetically small. Hell, as the proverb has it, is paved with good intentions. And so long as we go on trying to realize our ideals by bad or merely inappropriate means, our good intentions will come to the same bad ends. In this consists the tragedy and the irony of history. Can I, as an individual, do anything to make future history a little less tragic and less ironic than history past and present? I believe I can. As a citizen, I can use all my intelligence and all my goodwill to develop political means that shall be of the same kind and quality as the ideal ends which I am trying to achieve. And as a person, as a psychophysical organism, I can learn how to get out of the way so that the divine source of my life and consciousness can come out of eclipse and shine through me.
They're the creed of Aldous Huxley, who was born in Surrey, England, and now lives in Los Angeles, California. His novels are at home throughout the English-speaking world.
Crime does not pay.
But, Kit, I can't understand it. A man with your talents, your brilliance, to do the things you've done.
I don't expect you to understand. Perhaps the usual and honest ways of making money are too dull for me and too slow.
Making money? Kit, don't you realize you've been stealing?
You know my motto by now. Never give a sucker an even break, because if you don't take him, somebody else will.
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay, based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear All American Fake, starring Sidney Blackmer. now, Crime Does Not Pay, starring Sidney Blackmer as Taylor Dunn, alias Kit Marlowe, in All American Faith. Each year, each passing season brings to Americans a new crop of heroes. For some reason best known to ourselves, Americans love to honor the young men and women who swim better than all the others, hit a tennis ball harder or a baseball farther, or make more touchdowns than anybody else. These are our native heroes. Taylor Dunn was well aware of this. He was aware, too, that Americans hate to admit that they've been taken for a ride or outsmarted at anything. And Taylor Dunn was well aware that he had a remarkable physical resemblance to a well-known American hero. These three facts were a combination which helped Mr. Dunn immeasurably in his business.
Boy, oh boy, a real Garrison finish. How many seconds left to play?
50, the announcer said. But I'll never understand why they take time out of the moment like this.
Yeah.
Seems to me with seconds down and goal to go, a team would keep hammering until they put the ball over.
It's quite simple, Ragged old man. This is the point where the quarterback wants help from the coach. So they call a timeout, and a substitute comes in with instructions.
That sure builds up my blood pressure.
What a spot for a coach. Field goal is easy. Just tie the score. Touchdown and win. But State's line may hold it.
Don't listen up at all. We'll know in a minute.
Oh, I hope it's a line buck off tackle. They'll try that now and kick if they have to on fourth down.
Western better do something fast.
We will.
Weston's out of the huddle. All right, on the back. He has it. Ready, straight through. Opens up a hole up tackle. He's over! There's the gun. That's a touchdown. Weston's game 9-6 without the extra.
Brother! How do you like that, eh?
They should have used that power play in the first place.
Hey, you know what you're talking about, don't you, Marlowe?
Well, yes. Now, in my day at Weston...
Hey, are you Marlowe? Kit Marlowe?
Well, that's my name.
That Kit Marlowe?
Well, I confess I am.
Well, I thought you looked familiar.
Well, wait till I tell my boy I belong to the same club as Kit Marlowe of Western University's Rough Riders.
Oh, you think it'll mean anything to the new generation?
Mean anything?
Listen to the man. He doesn't know he's immortal.
Yeah.
Man, I saw you make that 70-yard run against State in your last game. Never forget it as long as I live.
I'm proud to know you, Marlowe. I'm doggone proud.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. But, well, I guess those days are gone forever as far as I'm concerned.
Oh.
I'm strictly a businessman now.
If I'm not too inquisitive, Marlowe, what is your line?
I guess you'd call it, well, promotion. Sales promotion in a way with a touch of jobbing in it.
Any particular line?
Oh, right now, office supplies, you know, stationery, pencils, rubber bands, that sort of thing.
Any real money in that?
There can be. You won't believe this, gentlemen, but right now my problem is rubber bands.
Oh, you mean you can't get any?
Oh, just the opposite. I could if I could finance the deal.
You mind explaining that?
Oh, not at all. I know where I can buy a carload at 68 cents a pound. Normally they cost 78. And I've got a customer who will pay $1.25 a pound.
That's not a bad margin, Marlowe. Why don't you swing the deal?
It's a cash operation. I've got to pay cash for the bands in the first place, and unfortunately, all my ready cash is tied up in typewriters of all things.
How much do you need, kid, old boy?
2,000. No, but I wouldn't think
Hold it, my boy, hold it. This is strictly business. I'll write a check for 1,000. McDonald here will do the same thing.
Well,
for a cut of your profit.
Oh, but you gentlemen don't know a thing about me.
Don't know a thing? Why, the whole country knows about Kit Marlowe. And that name's good enough for me anytime, any place.
Yes?
I beg your pardon. Is this the Marlowe apartment? Mr. Kit Marlowe?
Yes. I'm Mrs. Marlowe.
My name is Davis. Leon Davis?
Yes, Mr. Davis?
Is your husband at home?
Not right now, I'm afraid.
Oh, I see.
Can I help you?
Well, that is, no, I don't think so. It's about a business deal. I guess only Mr. Marlowe.
I think you'd better come in and sit down, Mr. Davis.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, nice place you have here, Mrs. Marlowe.
Thank you. Now then, Mr. Davis.
Well, I invested $275 in Mr. Marlowe's stationery business. Something about buying and selling rubber bands.
Rubber bands?
Yes.
Are you sure you have the right Marlowe?
Well, he is Kit Marlowe, the former football player, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Oh, then he's the right Marlowe. I remembered him distinctly from his pictures in the papers. I saw him several times, and when he told me he needed cash for a quick turnover, I let him have what I had, with the understanding that I'd get back $350 in 1 week.
And now, Mr. Davis?
Well, it's been over a month, Mrs. Marlowe, and I haven't seen your husband since. I need that money, Mrs. Marlowe. You see, it's my wife. She's sick. I thought the extra 75 would help. I can't wait any longer. I've got to have my money.
Look, Mr. Davis, if you go to his office and ask him there...
I tried to do that, Mrs. Marlowe, but there isn't any Marlowe in the whole building at the address he gave me. And nobody ever heard of him ever being there.
And that poor little man, Kit. I felt so sorry for him.
The world is full of poor little men like that, Helen. They'll always be little and they'll always be poor.
I told him I was sure he had the wrong Marlowe. After all, you've never been in the rubber band business in your life.
Did you get rid of this Miss Davis, dear?
Oh, I convinced him it must be another Marlowe. Someone he only thought was a football player.
Oh, he brought that up, did he?
Yes, but he went away after a while.
That's fine.
Kit.
Yes, dear?
He's not the only one who's been here.
What?
I haven't told you. I didn't want to bother you, but... Kit, they all tell the same story. They all say it was the football player.
Can I help it if some swindler is using my name?
And they all talk about recognizing you from the newspaper pictures.
Now, look, Helen, my face isn't so out of the ordinary that someone with a faint resemblance couldn't impersonate me. You don't think for 1 minute, dear, that
I'm sorry, dear. Maybe I did doubt you for a minute. After all, we've been married nearly 2 years, and I've never seen your office. And I recognized you from the newspaper pictures, too.
Sorry, darling.
Of course not, dear. You forgive me?
Without the asking. Yes? Yes, this is Marlowe. Oh, hello. What's on your alleged mind, old man? I see. Glad to hear it. And the check is certified. Good. Then I can get the cash in the morning. Right. Meet you there in 20 minutes. No rest for the weary, darling. I have to go out for a little while.
Don't you ever stop working, dear?
Back as soon as I can. Have to see a fellow about some typewriters. Bye, darling.
Bye. Oh, hello, Martha. Oh, this is Helen Marlowe. I hate to bother you, but you know about these things. Tell me, if a person wanted to learn the whereabouts of a famous graduate of a college, how would you go about it? You write to the Alumni Association? I see. Well, thank you, Martha. No one special. I'm just interested in learning the whereabouts of a football player I had a crush on a long time ago. Yes?
Mrs. Kit Marlowe?
Yes, I'm Mrs. Marlowe.
My name is Phil Latigan, Miss Marlowe. I'm from headquarters. My credentials.
I see.
May I come in?
Yes, of course. Isn't this where I ask you for your warrant, Mr. Latigan?
There's nothing as drastic as that necessary, Miss Marlowe. You see, you wrote a letter. I'm the answer to that letter.
Oh. I think you'd better sit down, Mr. Latigan.
Thank you.
Now, about a letter.
Yes, to the Alumni Association of Western University. You asked concerning the whereabouts of Kit Marlowe, the famous Kit Marlowe, that is.
Yes, so I did. How does it happen that you have the answer?
Because my section at headquarters has been interested in the same problem. I'm head of the fraud squad, Mrs. Marlowe.
Oh? Well, go on, Mr. Latigan.
It's quite simple. The Kit Marlowe who went to Western University is still there, teaching physical education. And any other man who says he's that Marlowe is practicing a fraud. And, if he's the man we think he is, he's obtaining money under false pretenses. In less polite language, Mrs. Marlowe, we're pretty certain that the man you married is a confidence man and a swindler.
In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with All American Fake. Now, we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Sidney Blackmer as Taylor Dunn, alias Kit Marlowe, in All American Fake. When Helen Marlowe recovered from the first shock of learning that her husband was literally not the man she thought he was, she took the only action which seemed possible to her. She faced her husband in their living room and stated flatly,
Kit, we're through.
I think you're being foolish, Helen. We've had a good life together. I believe we loved each other. Aren't you being just a trifle too squeamish?
I'm married to you, and I don't even know your right name.
Will it make you feel any better to call me Taylor Dunn instead of Kit Marlowe? Our marriage is perfectly legal in any case, you know.
Thank you for keeping me an honest woman. Legally, at any rate.
You're very welcome.
You seem to think you've been clever, not criminal.
I don't consider it criminal. It isn't any worse than taking the sheep in the stock market, is it?
People go into the market at their own risk.
People go into any deal at their own risk. That's my way of looking at it.
Then you won't give back the money.
Why should I?
Will you give me back my good name and my pride?
If you insist, my dear. Of course, I'll always have a soft spot for you, no matter what I'm doing or where I may be.
Thank you again. Will you be getting out of town now?
On account of your friend, Detective Lieutenant Latigan? I doubt it. There's not a thing Latigan can do about me until someone signs a complaint. And no sucker wants to tell the world that he is one.
Thank you, one and all. You've met lovely Erica Stalzing, Hollywood's latest importation from old Vienna, and that newest scribe among the syndicated scribblers, Lou Daniels. But just a moment. There's one more guest present here tonight who I know you'll get a great kick out of seeing. Western University's most famous graduate, Kit Marlowe! Kit, come on, boys, take a bow! That's it, take a bow. Thank you, Kit. All right, Maestro, on with the dance. Marlowe, I don't think we've ever met.
No, but I know your face. How are you, Daniels?
Hi, good. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm here by royal command. Movie royalty, that is.
Well, is that so?
Yes, Erica, Miss Stolzing, asked me to bring you over to her table.
Oh, that is an honor. Lead the way.
Good. Come on along. Excuse me. Pardon me. Erica, my dear, your wishes are law. May I present the great Kit Marlowe.
This is a pleasure, Miss Stolzing.
I'm so happy, Mr. Marlowe, that you would be so good to join us. My escort, Mr. Leffen.
Well, how do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Please to sit down.
Yes, sit down.
There's so much I want to ask you.
Oh, thank you. Ask away, Miss Stolzing.
Folks, pardon me for barging in like this, but I've just got to say hello to Kit there.
To me, Lieutenant?
Well, Kit, don't you remember me? That Navy game where you knocked me cold. Me, Bugsy Johnson.
Oh, Bugsy, of course.
Well,
all this navy blue and gold braid had me fooled for a moment. It's good to see you.
Look, I've got to get back to my table, Kit. Honeymoon. But call me, will you? I'm at the Carteret. Not too early, though, will you?
Well, I'll try, Bugsy. I'll try. A great football player in his day, that fellow.
And you, how you say, knocked him cold, Mr. Marlowe?
Well, he hit the ground hard, too hard. All in fun, though.
Oh, I think, Mr. Marlowe, to you, a lot of things are fun.
Knowing you is fun, Miss Stolzing.
Oh, that's wonderful. No one has said that to me before.
Oscar, we will see more of this wonderful man, much more. Lou, darling, you are so sweet to bring him to me.
Anytime at all, darling, anytime at all. Just point the fellow out, and you shall have him on toast from your Uncle Lou Daniels.
Kid, darling, you look worried. Don't you think he looks worried, Oscar?
He looks normal to me.
Look, Erica, you're wonderful, but there's not a thing you could do, understand?
But this is nonsense. When the American man says such things, it is money troubles. This much I've learned already, and in Hollywood I'm not yet. I'm right, Oscar?
The Queen is always right, my dear.
So now, Kid tells Weema, Oscar, and I will fix.
Oh, I'll be all right in a few days.
But this is so foolish. You tell us we fix. Now, today, I have money. Oscar has so much money he does not know what to do with it.
Not quite that much, Eric.
Well, I couldn't let you...
But you will. Now you tell us.
Well, since you insist, I'm in the stationery business. In my pocket, I have acceptances on $90,000 worth of typewriters for a large company. But I don't have the cash to get the typewriters from the manufacturer.
Oh, what does this mean, Oscar? Typewriters, acceptances?
Now, may I see those acceptances, Marlowe?
Here they are.
Yes. They look all right to me. You sure these signatures are genuine?
They better be.
Wait. Both of you, wait. I'll be right there.
Oh. What is she up to?
Who knows? She's Erica Stolzing, the one and only. Now, look here, Marlowe. Can you be in my office tomorrow morning at 11?
Of course.
Good. I have a group of associates. We finance operations like yours. Come in then. I'll have the papers drawn in blank. We can make a deal, and you'll get the money.
Kid, darling. Here, take this. I show this businessman friend of mine $2,000. All the cash I have for now. But this is Steve. He must be caught. If you are a policeman, Mr. Latigan, you will put him in prison.
I'd like to, Miss Stolzing. I've been after him for months. Now, if you'll sign the complaint...
Complaint? Of course I complain.
You understand, of course, you'll have to appear against him.
Appear? Oscar, what does it mean, this appear?
In court, Erica, on the witness stand.
But I cannot. This I cannot do.
Why not, Miss Stolzing?
Oh, this will be very good. 2 weeks I'm in this country, not yet in Hollywood I am. Now I'm taken in by this petty thief.
Petty? $60,000 besides your own $2,000?
Neither one of you'll sign a complaint.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Latigan. Not quite that fast. $60,000 is big money. Now, is there any way I could avoid, the appearance in court?
If we persuaded him to plead guilty, you might avoid the worst of the publicity.
All right, Latigan. I'll go along with you myself. I think our Mr. Marlowe, or whatever his name is, needs a lesson.
How about it, Mr. Liggett? Has this Marlowe ever been back here at the club?
Oh, we haven't seen a sign of him. He knows what would happen if McDonald and I laid eyes on him. $1,000 bills don't grow on trees.
You get around, Mr. Daniels. Can't you help us?
Well, the fellow's dropped out of sight completely. But it's sure a laugh. Leopard's taken for $60,000. And Erica.
You thought he was really Marlowe, too, didn't you?
I sure did. But he didn't get one leg son of my money.
Look, Mrs. Marlowe.
Miss Henderson now, if you don't mind.
Right, Miss Henderson. Is there anything you can tell us of his whereabouts?
I haven't seen him since I threw him out. But his right name is Taylor Dunn, if that's any help to you.
Help to us? Holy smoke, at last we got a break. Okay, Washington, this is Latigan. Hello, Higgins. Did you find anything? So he was caught once. I got it. First offense, suspended sentence. Fingerprints, of course. Wonderful. Look, send me a copy, will you? I'll start the routine inquiries. We'll get that fella if we have to circularize every post office and substation in the country. Let's say it again. Slowly now. Taylor Dunn. Served hitch in Army. Honorably discharged with rating as Master Sergeant. Higgins, you run a check for me on all recent re-enlistments in the United States Army. This'll be a pleasure, Captain. A real pleasure.
I don't know how you feel, Latigan. This must have been a merry chase. And strangely enough, he's a good soldier. A real leader in his way.
Too bad. Maybe he should have stayed in the Army in the first place. Well, it's almost 4 o'clock. Will you push him in, Captain? I'd hate to lose Mr. Dunn Marlowe now.
Right. All right. Detail, fall in. This is the operation, men. Sergeant Dunn will report here from the pistol range very shortly. He'll be carrying his sidearms. We want no trouble, but we'll take no chances. You've each been issued 10 rounds. If he resists arrest, fire over his head. Then let him have it, but try to avoid a vital area. Is that clear? And don't fire unless I give the word. Very well, then. Martin, outside the window just back of my desk. White, your position is across the road facing the front door. You'll find plenty of cover over there. Siegel, there's plenty of room behind the filing cabinet. Carter, take your post in my private office. Leave the door open a little so you can hear and see. All right, men, on the level.
You take no chances, do you?
You'll have a 45 with them. They make a nasty hole in a man. Hello, here's our pigeon.
Sergeant Dunn reporting, sir. I was told on the pistol range you wanted me, sir.
I don't, but Lieutenant Ladigan does.
Lieutenant?
Yes, Dunn, alias Kit Marlowe. Lieutenant, Metropolitan Police.
I'm afraid I don't understand, Lieutenant. I've done nothing.
You can save that not guilty plea for your arraignment. You're charged with fraud, impersonation, and taking money under false pretenses. You're under arrest.
I don't think you can do this, Lieutenant. I'm in the Army.
We know you're expected to find cover in the great anonymity of the Army. The Army doesn't want your kind loose any more than civilians do. You've been released to us in my custody. Ready?
Captain, don't let him do this. You'll make me use my gun.
Martin, Siegel, Carter, show yourself. And the door is covered from across the road, Dunn.
Good tactics, Captain. My compliments.
Look out, Ladigan! Don't touch that pistol! Dunn!
Sorry, Dunn. Learned my judo in the Marines. Thanks for everything, Captain. I think I'll come quietly now.
Crime does not pay. Sidney Blackmer, who was starred as Taylor Dunn, alias Kit Marlowe, in All American Fake, will be back with you in just a moment. Now, here in person is Sidney Blackmer.
I'm sure you'll be interested to learn that Taylor Dunn did plead guilty and received a sentence of 2 to 5 years in prison. And I think, too, that you had the same feeling listening to his story as I had in playing it, a feeling that this man was not basically bad, that he was misdirected somewhere along the line, and then aided and abetted by 2 things which are so common in our American life, the adulation of heroes and the eagerness of so many to turn a quick profit without too much worry about the exact methods. This is the kind of public carelessness, the kind of indifference in thinking and in citizenship, which are so fundamental in the growth of so much crime. Believe me, protection against crime begins not in the police station, but in our thinking. The basic responsibility for law enforcement lies not with the policeman on his beat, but with you and me in our everyday lives. Crime does not pay.
Thank you, Sidney Blackmer. Crime Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Mark D. Loeb, with music composed and conducted by John Gart. Technical advisor is Burton B. Curtis. The events, characters, and names used in the story you've just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental.
This, I believe. Dr. Alex M. Burgess practiced as an internist for 35 years in Providence and was chief physician of the Rhode Island Hospital. He is vice president of the American College of Physicians and national chairman of a committee to resettle foreign doctors. He has made many contributions to medicine, one of which is a method of oxygen administration which has saved many lives. Here is the personal philosophy of Dr. Alex M. Burgess.
In the first broadcast of this program, Mr. Morrow emphasized the confusion of the age in which we live, with its bitterness, cynicism, despair, and hysteria, and he stressed the need of such commodities as courage, fortitude, and faith. In many years of service to the sick, it has been my privilege to encounter striking examples of such commodities. The observation of these qualities in my patients has been to me a great inspiration. In the indestructible reality of such abstract virtues, reality equal to that of bricks and mortar, and in their supreme value, I believe. Let me build up with you the basis of my belief. First, what do I mean by the word believe? My understanding is that to believe is to accept as fact. Belief must be the result of observation, experience, and reason. I must then accept the results of scientific observation. I must conclude that I am an individual of a species of mammals living on a planet where environmental conditions have been favorable to the development and continued evolution of living organisms. Of these organisms, the species to which I belong is unique in that we have developed brains of such efficiency that we can construct, communicate, and record ideas. We and all material things about us are composed of molecules made up of various combinations of atoms, which themselves consist of protons, neutrons, and electrons. These things I know. By the action of what directing force the primordial particles of matter, protons, neutrons, and electrons have so arranged themselves as to produce the orderly universe, I do not know. Here is where faith comes in, the idea of God formed in the minds of men, as real as the stones and the stars and the guiding light of millions. Faith, not knowledge or belief. We human beings, then, with our highly developed brains, have been able to communicate and record our thoughts and to form ideas, concepts, and judgments. These have absolute reality and the greatest value in guiding us. The idea and the ideal may be of vastly greater significance than the material fact. Take, for example, the story of Abraham Lincoln. Of what significance would it be if our idea of his life, which has inspired so many to better living, were at variance with the exact facts? It is the ideal which he has left us that is important. As exemplified by Lincoln and by thousands of others, most of them in the obscurity of their private lives, we have the concepts, the qualities of courage, fortitude, friendship, and generosity standing out as the realities of human existence that to us are of the greatest significance and value. Merely products of the human mind? Yes, but as real and as powerful as are the gamma rays from an X-ray tube. How often have I seen in homes and hospitals heroes of the sickbed, heroes who expect no distinguished service crosses or congressional medals, but whose courage is pure and undefiled. Courage, kindness, generosity, and self-sacrifice. It is in the reality, significance, and supreme value of such qualities that I believe. It is on their development on an individual and national scale, and on the suppression of such opposites as greed, selfishness, and fear, that the future of our world depends. This I believe.
That was Dr. Alex M. Burgess of Providence, Rhode Island.
You're a nice guy. I got no quarrel with you. You're just standing in my way.
The Sealy Mattress Company presents Calling All Detectives. Calling All Detectives, mystery drama from the case book of Jerry Browning, plus radio's newest, most thrilling game, the Sealy Mystery Quiz. Tonight, after our Calling All Detectives story, we'll telephone some listener right in his or her own home and ask one simple question about the story. A question that can be answered if you listen carefully and remember what you hear. And since the mystery quiz question was not correctly answered last night, the Sealy Award for tonight will be $50 for the right answer. So pull up a chair and listen carefully to Calling All Detectives.
Jerry Browning, private detective, confidential investigations. Maybe you've seen my ads in the papers. What kind of business do I get from these ads? You'd be surprised. Sometimes even I am surprised. The visitor was a plump, fidgety little man with earnest, owlish eyes. He said,
Mr. Browning, I paid a low character $100 to kill me. I've changed my mind. I want you to tell him so. Nothing more, nothing less.
I said, oh, and tried to make it sound thoughtful. The little man didn't look like a jokester, but you can never be sure. I said, Mr. Frobish, you're sure you didn't, imagine this? Frobish squeaked with indignation.
Imagine? Certainly not. I got the idea from the same situation in a movie. Most engrossing.
I said, and why did you want to die? The answer came in explosive syllables. He, Joseph Frobish, had suffered from the pangs of unrequited love. He contemplated suicide but lacked courage, hence the hired killer, the low character earlier mentioned. But now he discovered the lady did love him after all, and life was sweet again. I looked at the ceiling and tried not to laugh. I said, what is this low character's name? Frobish bit his lip.
I only know his first name, Louis. But you can find him at the Blue Cat Tavern on Front Street. Be sure to tell him he can keep the $100.
Jerry Browning will be back in just a moment. But before you get so engrossed with tonight's story that you forget about sleep temporarily, let me remind you of something. You spend approximately a third of your life in bed, and the way you feel in the waking two-thirds of your life depends tremendously on how well you sleep. Can you think of anything more important to your well-being, then, than a really good mattress? Believe me, when you sleep on a Sealy Tuftless inner spring mattress, life takes on new satisfaction. You sleep better, of course. You wake up feeling renewed and refreshed because your Sealy Tuftless inner spring is so perfectly constructed for correct body support. This famous mattress is soft enough to cradle every muscle in comfort, yet it's gently firm, too, to prevent sinking or slumping. To keep your body in a true horizontal position with utmost freedom of movement. One night on a Sealy Tuftless inner spring will convince you that here is the mattress to add most to your well-being. You'll completely agree with the famous slogan, sleeping on a Sealy is like sleeping on a cloud. And now here's your favorite detective, Jerry Browning.
The Blue Cat, a fancy name for an old-time saloon. Sawdust on the floors, a bottle of hot pepper sauce in the bar for those who like their beer to command respect, prices written in soap on the bar mirror, and a back room with a sign that said, Ladies Welcome. I said to the bartender, I'm looking for Louis. He jerked a thumb at the back room, didn't even look up from his glass polishing. Only one table in the back room was occupied. Two men sat at it. One was a small, dark Latin with fluttery hands and a twitch at the corner of his mouth. The other was a red-haired giant, beetle-browed, yet with the guileless face of a child. Both were sitting in their undershirts and drinking beer from heavy glass mugs. I said, which one of you is Louis? The giant stood up, put a hand on my shoulder, and pressed. I'm Louis. Sit down. I sat down. I rubbed my shoulder and said, Louis, you don't know your own strength. Louis grinned, showing stained, broken teeth. He winked at his friend, then closed a huge hand around his beer mug and squeezed. You bet your life I'm strong, eh, Dominique? Now, mister, who you are and what you are? I told him my name and broke the news about Frobish having decided to continue living. Louis scratched his thatch and looked puzzled. Then he roared with mirth. Oh, him! That fella is crazy. I said, now that we're all agreed, I'll buy a drink. Over our drinks, the bartender said nothing about the smashed beer mug. Louis recalled his meeting with Frobish about 2 weeks ago. Frobish, it seemed, had been walking around Front Street asking for somebody who didn't mind dangerous work. Mrs. Louis, a fine woman, had overheard his inquiries and led Frobish to her spouse. Frobish then outlined his weird request, and at his wife's urgings, Louis had accepted the $100. The money had come in very handy, but as for going through with the bargain... Me, kill a man? Not even for $200. Unless he make me hungry, eh, Dominique? Dominique nodded agreement, as he did each time a question was put to him. Now, for the first time, he spoke, and thoughtfully. This Frobish is very much afraid, no? I said, don't get any ideas about shaking him down, boys. It would only get you into trouble. The woman who came charging into the back room was a raven-haired beauty and raven-mad. She strode up to Louis and led into him with a stream of what sounded like French but may have been Spanish. Louis, the giant, hunched up his shoulder and rolled his eyes. After a while, she stopped, narrowed her eyes, leaned over the table, and... Oh, well, my wife, she loves me. But always she wants me to make the money. That one, she would have me kill this Frobish and get more work like it. Women. I suppose I should have reported immediately to Frobish, but I decided it wouldn't hurt him to think my job had been harder than it actually was. So that evening, Frobish wouldn't crack the front door more than an inch. I said impatiently, "Don't worry, Mr. Frobish. It's just me, Jerry Browning." He admitted me, but if I expected him to be happy with my news... "Don't worry, Mr. Frobish, you say. Look, up there." I looked. A round hole in the wall, another hole in the window, right in line with the hole in the wall. Somebody had fired a gun through the window. Frobish made a thin line in his mouth. He said, "This happened an hour ago. It barely missed me." I nodded. We were in the living room facing on the street. Behind Frobish was an open door. As I glanced over his shoulder, I caught a swift glimpse of a woman, a flash of dark hair and olive complexion. I said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Frobish. I thought everything was settled. It isn't, but it will be. And in the meantime, don't do anything foolish." I drove back to the Blue Cat as fast as I could. But as I got there, the saloon door burst open and Louis came charging out. I stepped in front of him. "You're a nice guy. I got no quarrel with you. You're just standing in my way." By the time I picked myself off the sidewalk and shook the fog from my brain, Louis was out of sight. I staggered into the Blue Cat. I said to the bartender, "Where's Dominic?" No answer. I said, "Where's Mrs. Louis?" Still no answer. I grabbed at him across the bar, and he took a heavy bung starter out of his apron pocket. He said, "With me it's a rule. I don't mix in my customers' business. Get out of here." I found a telephone booth in a drugstore a block away. "Frobish, this is Jerry Browning. Listen to me. Keep your front door locked. Go upstairs. Don't answer the bell. Don't go near a window until I get there. Don't do anything. Do you hear me? Don't do anything." Frobish lived all the way across town. There was a chance I'd get there ahead of Louis, unless he thought of taking a cab. I was out of my car almost before it stopped, but... there was no use hurrying anymore. The front door was open. I went inside, past the body lying face down just inside the entrance hall. I walked up to Frobish, took the gun from his limp hand. I ignored the woman cowering behind him, Mrs. Louis. I said, "Too bad, isn't it, Mr. Frobish? You killed the wrong man. I tried to warn you." I turned over Dominic's body. He was dead, all right. I phoned the police, then sat down to wait for Louis. The police got there first. Louis's idea of speed was to take a trolley car. By that time, we had Frobish's story and could figure out the rest. It was a nice twist. Hire a man to kill you when you really intend to kill him. The trouble was, Louis wouldn't take the deal seriously and didn't show up to be killed as a burglar, though his wife, nice girl, tried her best to persuade him. That's when Frobish hired me in the hope that Louis would try to get more money and be killed as a blackmailer. Except that Dominic was the one who saw the possibilities, while Louis could not be stirred into action until his wife phoned and told him where she was. Dominic got there first and took the bullets intended for Louis. And as for Louis and his wife... Come on, woman. Now we go home.
Well, you mystery fans, could you have solved tonight's Calling All Detectives story? It called for observation, and we'll soon see how well you observe, because it's Seeley Mystery Quiz time, a chance for some listener at home to answer a question based on tonight's story. The Seeley Award tonight is $50 if the question is correctly answered. Otherwise, we'll add $25 to the Seeley Award for tomorrow night's question. And tonight's question, worth $50.
What was the color of Louis's hair? We're going to call a Wellington number tonight, so here goes. W, E, L.
And while the number we'll call tonight is being dialed by Jerry Browning, let's talk about the selection of your next mattress. There are so many names and so many claims you might reasonably be a little confused. Maybe these facts will help you. The name of Seeley S-C-A-L-Y, Sealy, has been renowned since the year 1881. It's a name that means quality, quality materials, quality workmanship. What's more, the name of Sealy means the most advanced and thorough knowledge of all the factors that make for better sleep and greater benefits from sleep. This knowledge is the reason why the Sealy Toughless Inner Spring mattress is made with a top as smooth as a pillow. It's the reason the Sealy Toughless Inner Spring is soft enough for luxurious comfort, not soft enough to let your body sink or slump, not soft enough to hamper freedom of movement. Telling you these facts may help you decide on your next mattress, but your final decision will be made when you see and try a Sealy Toughless Inner Spring. Then you'll know that you want that supremely soothing Sealy feeling for the rest of your life. And now we're ready for a Sealy Mystery Quiz question. The listener who will have a chance to win the award tonight is Ada M. Hammond of 711 West Berry. The number's been dialed, and here's Jerry Browning himself to ask the question.
Well, Jack, Miss Hammond wasn't home, but we have her sister, Mrs. Mary Adeline Love. L-O-V-E, a lovely name. This is Jerry Browning, Mrs. Love. Did you hear the Calling All Detectives story from my casebook tonight on WGN? Oh, you just got home. Well, that's too bad. The question was a very simple one. I'll tell you the question and tell you the answer. If you had been listening, and if you had known the right answer, it would have been worth $50 to you. Since you weren't, you will be sent an award worth $5. I'm sure you'll like that. Well, here's the question. The question was, what was the color of Louie's hair? For the benefit of the radio audience, the answer was red. Incidentally, Mrs. Love, do you enjoy mystery programs? Mm-hmm. You listen often, do you? Well, I hope you'll listen in to us because we may call you again sometime on WGN every night, Monday through Friday at 10:15. All right, Mrs. Love, I want to check your address. It's 711 West Berry Street and Chicago, what zone, please? Oh, you're just a visitor. All right, well, thank you very much. We'll get to you. Good night, Mrs. Love.
Since the mystery quiz question was not correctly answered tonight, we add $25 to the award, making a total of $75 for the correct answer to tomorrow night's question. Each night that the Sealy quiz question remains unanswered, the award is increased by $25. Listen tomorrow night at 10:15 and every night from Monday through Friday to Calling All Detectives, tense mystery drama from the casebook of Jerry Browning and radio's newest, most exciting game, the Sealy Mystery Quiz. And remember, $75 tomorrow night if we telephone you. Until tomorrow night at 10:15, this is Jack Callahan reminding you that sleeping on a Sealy is like sleeping on a cloud. Pleasant dreams. WGN, Chicago.
Murder at midnight.
Fool! You idiot! I'll fix you. I'll take you back there and a razor. No, don't. I told you not to touch me. Now it's all over. We've played our last performance together.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Secret of Xr3. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by Max Ehrlich is The Secret of Xr3. The death house. A man sits in a tiny cell, his head bowed. waiting for the moment when he will pass from light to eternal shadow. The clock ticks on, but the time is not quite yet. Then footsteps sound in the corridor. The door opens. It's almost time, my son.
Yes, Father, I know.
Is there anything I can do?
No. Still, I'm glad you've come. Father, look at me. Look at me closely.
Yes?
I frighten you, don't I? I terrify you.
No. No, my son. Nothing frightens me except the evil in men's hearts.
And am I evil?
I don't know, my son.
Oh, Father, just sit down. Let me tell you my story, and then when I've finished, perhaps you can tell me. They call me Gorgo. All my life I've been a little man, only 3 feet high. Perfectly normal in every way, you see, except for my height. Perhaps you saw me down at the Century Theater not so long ago, the vaudeville team of Petrov and Gorgo, acrobats supreme. Petrov was a huge, ape-like man who tossed me through the air like a rubber ball. The audience liked the act. The contrast between the big Petrov and the little Gorgo intrigued and amused them. And on the stage, I laughed and smiled and went through my tricks like a happy little fellow. But in the dressing room, it was different.
I did not like your performance tonight, Gorgo.
But what was wrong with the Petrov?
You were slow. You landed too heavily. You did not smile enough.
But they liked us, Petrov. You heard them. We got 3 curtain calls.
We should have gotten 5.
Petrov, I did my best. My very best, believe me.
Your best was not good enough, little one. Perhaps you will do better tomorrow if I lock you in your room tonight without supper.
That was Vladimir Petrov, a gorilla of a man and master of my body and soul. How I hated him. How many times I wept in the silence of my room. All my life I had walked in the shadows of bigger people. See, all my life I had looked up instead of straight ahead, endured the stares of the curious and sensed the pity that was in their hearts. And that was why I used to wait in the alley near the stage door between performances, because it was dark there. I loved the dark. It protected me and hid me from those who stared and mocked. One night...
I beg your pardon, you were Gorgo?
Yes?
My name is Dr. Mead. I saw your performance earlier tonight. I was just coming in to see you.
Yes? What about?
Oh, I happen to be an expert in glandular work, particularly in the function of the pituitary or growth gland. I think the results of my recent experiments will interest you.
I don't understand, Dr. Mead.
Did you ever hear of Xr3?
Xr3? No.
Well, it's an extract, a synthetic, I discovered about 2 years ago. In my experiments to date, whenever I injected it into stunted or dwarfed animals, they grew.
They grew?
Yes.
You mean to normal size?
Well, by using controlled doses, yes.
You mean if you could do this with animals, then you could...
I don't know, Gorgo. I think the time has come to try. Except for your size, you were perfectly formed, just what I've been looking for. I came to ask you if you'd volunteer.
Yes.
You understand, I can't guarantee a thing.
I understand, and that doesn't matter. Dr. Mead, you don't know what it means, even the chance. A chance to grow to normal size. Why,
One thing, though, I must have your written permission.
My permission? Yes, Dr. Mead, I'll give it to you gladly. I'll do anything.
You speak a little hastily, do you not, Gorgo?
Petrov.
Yes, little one. I'm sorry, Dr. Mead. I'm afraid you will have to find someone else for your experiments.
Someone else?
My little friend cannot act as your guinea pig without my consent. You see, I am Gorgo's legal guardian, and I have the papers to prove it.
No, Petrov, no, you've got to give me this chance.
Silence, little fool. As I said, I'm sorry, Doctor,
But, my dear sir, if I can make Gorgo grow to normal size...
If you did, what would become of our act? It would be worthless. The people come to see Big Petrov and Little Gorgo.
Do you mean to say, Mr. Petrov, that you would let your vaudeville act stand in the way?
Yes. I spent years building the team of Petrov and Gorgo. Do you think I am going to let you ruin my investment now?
Petrov, please, please, please let him do it. You've got
Shut
to.
up, you little fool, and get inside.
Petrov!
As for you, Doctor, I wouldn't advise you to come around here again.
This was a blow I could not stand. Dr. Meade had opened a prison door for me, and Petrov had slammed it shut again. I resolved then that come what may, I would have my chance. The very idea of the XR3, of becoming a man like other men, made me drunk and gave me daring. One morning, while Petrov was away, I paid a visit to Dr. Meade at his office and begged him to try the experiment, without Petrov's permission.
I'm sorry, Gorgo, but I cannot. The experiment would be very delicate. If anything should happen without your guardian's legal permission...
No, I'll run the risk, Dr. Meade. I'll be glad to.
I'm sorry, but it can't be done.
I see. Dr. Meade.
Yes?
Just what does this XR3 look like?
Well, I made it up in capsule form. Here, I've a whole bottle of the capsules in my desk drawer. As you see, they're green in color.
So those are the magic capsules. Thank you for letting me see them, Doctor. Thank you very much. Late that night, I slipped out of my hotel room and down the fire escape. Keeping in the shadows, I went to Dr. Meade's office and climbed through the grilled bars in the window. It was easy for a man of my size, and when I left, I had the bottle of XR3 capsules in my pocket. Well, that was Saturday night. I took one capsule, and then another. They made me ill, lightheaded. Then I fell into a deep sleep, and then a knock on the door wakened me. Who is it?
Petrov, why are you sleeping so late?
I don't feel well.
My little one does not feel well. That's a pity.
Please, Petrov, I'm going to sleep.
Very well. Today is Sunday and there is no performance. But tomorrow, my little Gorgo, you had better be in the best of health, understand? Otherwise, I'll see that you really become sick.
After he left, I fell into the deep sleep again. And then something woke me. My muscles ached as though I had been stretched on a rack. It was daylight again. It was Monday. My pajamas seemed uncomfortably tight, and I looked down, and the sleeves only reached my elbows. I stared, and my heart stopped beating. Then I remembered the XR3. Like a drunken man, I staggered over to the mirror, looked. Yes! I had grown. My pajamas were stretched to bursting. I was growing. I was at least 5 feet tall. 5 feet tall! It was almost time for the performance now. Petrov would be coming for me any minute, and I didn't want him to see me. Not yet. So I piled furniture against the door and waited.
All right, Gorgo. Time to go to the theater.
I can't go, Petrov. Not tonight. I'm still sick.
What? You little swine, do you think I'm going to postpone the performance because you're sick? Open the door.
No. Petrov, no. Don't come in. Don't come in.
You little fool. I'll break every bone in your body.
And I heard it turn in the lock. The furniture against the door would only hold for a minute, and I ran to my valise, took out a straight razor, and then, like a frightened animal, I waited.
Keep the door open, you. I'm sure you want to. Now, my little... Gorgo. In the name of heaven, what?
Yes, Petrov. I got it. I stole the XR3, and I took it. Now, you see...
You idiot. Do you realize what you've done? You've ruined the act.
You've ruined it, do you hear?
Yes, but I'm a man now. I'm a man, not a dwarf. They won't stare at me now. They won't...
No, that's what you think. If that doctor could make you grow, he can make you small again. Smaller than ever.
No, Petrov, no!
Yes, Gorgo. You've grown, but not so much that I can't handle you. We're going to see him right now.
Petrov, no! Let me alone. Heaven's sake!
From you, Teresa! No! I told you to leave me alone. I told you. And now it's all over. We've played our last performance together, Petrov.
A doomed man, sitting in a death house, pauses in his story, recalling the first time the clock struck 12 for
murder at midnight.
And now here is Gorgo again, continuing his story to the priest in the death house.
I stayed in my hotel room another day and took 2 more XR3 capsules. And when I looked into the mirror that night, I was over 6 feet tall. That was enough. That was all I wanted. Now I would leave the hotel. They'd never know who killed Petrov. They'd be looking for Gorgo, a 3-foot midget. Never suspect me. Yes, I was in the clear. I stripped Petrov, put on his clothes. They were a little tight, but they did well enough. Then I went through the lobby and into the night. The mere experience of walking was exciting, exhilarating, as though I were walking on a high fence. And nobody looked at me twice. The staring eyes were gone. I was normal. First, I had to find a place to live. I passed by a boarding house with a sign, room to let. I rang the bell.
Yeah, what is it? Oh, hello.
Hello. My name is Baker, John Baker. I saw your sign about a room.
Yeah. Well, would you like to see it, big boy?
If you don't mind.
I don't mind a bit. Come in. It's a lovely room. We got a nice class of people. I'm sure you'll like it.
I'm sure I will. But first, Miss...
Devlin. Rhoda Devlin.
Yeah. Miss Devlin, I just wanted to say I've been living in hotels all my life, and I can't give you any references.
Forget it. My mother owns the place, and, well, we're not exactly formal. Besides, you look good to me.
I do?
Yeah. I always did go for big men.
Big?
Yeah.
Oh. And I've always liked pretty girls. This was a dream come true. I was a normal man, and a normal little girl was attracted to me. She was blonde and blue-eyed, and her head came up to my shoulder. A week passed. A week that was beyond my wildest dreams. I took Rhoda out, and we went everywhere. I fell in love with her. Madly in love. She was so small, so delicate, I wanted to protect her always. She had opened up a new and magic world to me, a world of light and love and laughter. And then, one night it happened. I was taking Rhoda home from the movies, and we were passing a billiard parlor, and there were several idlers in front of the place. They began saying things.
Hey, look at the giant. Yeah. How's the weather up there, big boy? Hey, Charlie, what do you got there, 5 feet?
You wait here, Rhoda. I'll shut them out for them.
All right.
I crack the skull of the next man who opens his mouth.
Please, Johnny, don't bother with
Yeah,
them.
but they're saying...
I know, but don't mind them. Let's keep walking.
No, I won't.
Please.
Yeah. All right.
Well, what do you know? The big baboon trying to throw his weight around.
I wanted to smash their jeering faces, knock them down. But Rhoda and I walked down to her mother's boarding house, and she was strangely silent as we entered the dimly lit foyer. She hadn't said a single word since we had passed that billiard parlor. I was vaguely disturbed. I took her in my arms, but she pushed me away.
No, please don't.
What's the matter, baby? Is it what those men at the billiard parlor said?
I don't know. It seems to me you're growing bigger. Right before my eyes.
Growing bigger?
Yeah. I thought at first I was seeing things, but now I know it's true. I know it's crazy. It's crazy, but when we first met, the top of my head reached your shoulders. And now...
Yeah? What about now?
Now it doesn't reach your shoulders anymore. You've grown bigger.
Oh, Rhoda, you don't know what you're saying. This is your imagination.
No, it's true. We better not see each other anymore. I'm afraid of you, John. You're too big now. Good night.
No, Rhoda, listen.
Don't
No,
touch
Rhoda,
me.
please.
Go, my own.
No, not until you hear what I have to say. Rhoda, I love you. Do you hear? I love you, and I'm not going to let you just toss me aside.
Don't get...
Now stop that screaming. You want to waste a horse. Speed up. Stop it. Stop it. Stop that screaming. Stop, I say. Yeah.
You're hurting me. Breathe.
Rhoda. Rhoda. Rhoda! No. The lifeless body sagged in my arms. I'd forgotten my own strength. And in my fury, I'd strangled her. Like a man in a dream, I lowered her body gently to the floor and then turned to look at my reflection in the full-length mirror in the foyer. Yes, it was true. The pitiless mirror reflected a giant. I'd grown at least 6 inches. The XR3 had continued its work, was making me grow even now. Now I was a freak again. They stared at me again and pitied me. The beautiful, normal world I had so briefly enjoyed came crashing down over my ears. I ran out of the house like a wild man and into the street. Dr. Meade. Yes, I had to see him. At once, I ran to his office, avoiding the well-lit streets, and the light was on. And I prayed that he was in. I knocked on the door.
Yes, what? Good Lord.
Hello, Dr. Meade. You remember me?
Why, no, I can't say that I do.
Look up into my face, Doctor. The features are the same you looked down upon not so long ago.
Gogo the midget.
No, Dr. Meade. It's Gogo the giant now.
So it was you who stole the bottle of XR3 capsules from my desk.
Yes.
And this is the result. This and Petrov's murder.
He deserved to die.
It does not alter the fact that it still was murder.
Dr. Meade! I'm not here to argue law with you. I want you to save me. You've got to stop this growing process.
But how? What can I do?
An antidote. You must have an antidote.
I'm sorry, but I haven't. There just isn't any.
What? No antidote?
Oh, you're lying. I assure you I'm telling the truth, Gogo. I was interested in making things grow, not making them smaller.
Yeah. Then I'm lost. There's no way out.
I'm sorry.
All my life I was a little man. I wanted to know what it was like to be a big man. Now I am big. Too big.
Isn't that amusing, Doctor? Too little and then too big. Like the swing of a pendulum. I wish I were little again. As I knew what to expect, and I was used to that. Now they'll stare at me again. And laugh and jeer at me. Gorgo the Giant! Gorgo the Giant!
I think we'd better call the police, Gorgo.
Well, Father, that's my story. See, that's why I'm here in the death house. Now, tell me, am I evil?
No, my son. You have been unfortunate, but not evil. You have sinned, yes. But you have been sinned against, too. They're coming for you, Gorgo.
I hear. And I'm glad.
Glad?
Yes, glad. I don't mind dying now. This world, Father, what has it ever meant to me? But there, in the next world, there no man will be strange, and all will be equal. And perhaps there I will find peace.
With firm and measured tread, the man who was first too small and then too big walks down the corridor. And the iron doors along the way rattle and clang like the chiming of the clock when it first struck 12 for murder at midnight. Remember to be with us again when death walks through the darkness with giant strides and the clocks strike 12 for murder at midnight. The part of Gorgo was played by Carl Swenson, with music by Charles Paul. Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
This I believe. Alexander Bloch is a violinist. He concertized extensively in the South and the East. He was a teacher for many years, and at one time had his own summer school of music in Hillsdale, New York. Now he is the conductor of the Florida West Coast Symphony Orchestra. Here is Alexander Block.
In order to tell what I believe, I must briefly sketch something of my personal history. The turning point of my life was my decision to give up a promising business career and study music. My parents, although sympathetic and sharing my love of music, disapproved of it as a profession. This was understandable in view of the family background. My grandfather had taught music for nearly 40 years at Spring Hill College in Mobile, and although much beloved and respected in the community, earned barely enough to provide for his large family. My father often said it was only the hard-headed thriftiness of my grandmother that kept the wolf at bay. As a consequence of this example in the family, the very mention of music as a profession carried with it a picture of a precarious existence with uncertain financial rewards. My parents insisted upon college instead of a conservatory of music, and to college I went. Quite happily, as I remember, for although I loved my violin and spent most of my spare time practicing, I had many other interests. Before my graduation from Columbia, the family met with severe financial reverses, and I felt it my duty to leave college and take a job. Thus was I launched upon a business career, which I always think of as the wasted years. Now, I do not for a moment mean to disparage business. My whole point is that it was not for me. I went into it for money, and aside from the satisfaction of being able to help the family, money is all I got out of it. It was not enough. I felt that life was passing me by. From being merely discontented, I became acutely miserable. My one ambition was to save enough to quit and go to Europe to study music. I used to get up at dawn to practice before I left for downtown, distracting my poor mother by bolting a hasty breakfast at the last minute. Instead of lunching with my business associates, I would seek out some cheap cafe, order a meager meal, and scribble my harmony exercises. I continued to make money, and finally, bit by bit, accumulated enough to enable me to go abroad. The family being once more solvent, and my help no longer necessary, I resigned my position, and feeling like a man released from jail, sailed for Europe. I stayed 4 years, worked harder than I had ever dreamed of working before, and enjoyed every minute of it. Enjoyed is too mild a word. I walked on air. I really lived. I was a free man, and I was doing what I loved to do and what I was meant to do. If I had stayed in business, I might be a comparatively wealthy man today, but I do not believe I would have made a success of living. I would have given up all those intangibles, those inner satisfactions that money can never buy, and that are too often sacrificed when a man's primary goal is financial success. When I broke away from business, it was against the advice of practically all my friends and family. So conditioned are most of us to the association of success with money that the thought of giving up a good salary for an idea seemed little short of insane. If so, all I can say is, gee, it's great to be crazy.
That was Maestro Alexander Block, a man with the courage and conviction to follow his true interests.
What's the matter? What is it?
Another case for Nick Carter, master detective.
Yes, it's another case for that most famous of all manhunters, the detective whose ability at solving crime is unequaled in the history of detective fiction, Nick Carter, master detective. Tonight's curious adventure,
The Flying Duck Murders, for Nick Carter and the Gold Thieves.
Carter, unless you think more of a large fat fee than you do of your life, I advise you to throw up the case at once.
Apparently, we don't look at this in the same light, Mr. Dalrymple. I expect danger, and I'm prepared to meet it.
I suppose you know that 2 other detectives have come out to this wild Montana country where the Flying Duck mine is located, trying to find the trouble. But do you know that neither of them lived to tell what they found?
How were they killed, Mr. Dalrymple?
They went crazy, Miss Bowen. Castro, the San Francisco man, fell over a cliff, while Riley, the man from Chicago, dropped 600 feet down the main shaft of the mine.
Very interesting.
I feel quite sure that Nick won't share their fate.
May I inquire for whom you're acting, Mr. Carter?
You may. For Mr. Cecil Trenwick, an old friend of my father's and a large shareholder in the Flying Duck Mine. He said that you'd cooperate with me in every possible way.
I shall do what I can, certainly.
Good. I should like you to give me a letter to the superintendent at the mine, telling him that I'm a good workman and that you promised me a job. I shall disguise myself as a miner, using the name Dave Jarvis.
Very well. You said your name will be Dave Jarvis?
Right.
Well, that'll do what you want. Give it to Mr. Nate Crosby, the mine super. He happens to be here in town this morning. Unless you change your mind and decide to return to New York.
Thank you, Mr. Dalrymple. But I'm staying here till my work is finished. Good morning.
Goodbye.
Good morning.
Wait a minute, Patsy. I wonder if Mr. Dalrymple is...
431, operator.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello? I want to speak to Nate Crosby. Okay, I'll wait.
Crosby? He's the mine super, Nick.
Yes, things are beginning to move already.
Yes.
If I open this door a crack, we'll hear better.
Nate, this is Dalrymple. Krennic has done what he's been threatening to do for so long. He sent Nick Carter out here to investigate. Yes, Nick Carter, the one man in the world I'm afraid of. Now, you've got to market the stuff right away. We can't wait any longer now. I've given him a note to you. Give him the job he wants and then take care of him. Now, yes, if you don't, it may mean curtains for all of us. Right. So long. And that will settle your future, Mr. Nick Carter.
I very much doubt that, Mr. Dalrymple.
Thanks for the attention, Mr. Dalrymple. But I intend to take care of my own future.
So, Mr. Dalrymple is in on the deal.
He certainly is, Scubby, up to his neck.
Well, at least we start off with one good hot prospect. What do we do now?
Get into your miner's outfit. Then take this note down to this address and give it to Nate Crosby, the mine super. Now, remember, your name's Dave Jarvis, and Crosby's to give you a job in the mill.
Okay, Nick. Then what?
Well, first and foremost, keep your eyes open. Crosby will believe you're Nick Carter, so watch out for him. He'll try to put you out of the way.
And don't forget, Scubby, the detectives from Chicago and Frisco both came to grief.
Well, it's going to be different with the guy from New York.
Now, Patsy, you wait here at the hotel where we can get in touch with you if we need you.
Sure, Nick.
All right, get going, Scubby. I'm going out to the mine right away. You wait, though, and ride out with Crosby. And watch out for him.
Right, Nick. I'll keep one eye on him and one on the mine.
Thanks for the lift, Bud.
That's okay, pal. That's the super's office right there.
Thanks. I'll be seeing you.
Yeah, you looking for someone?
You're the super of the Flying Duck Mine?
No, I'm the assistant super. Clem Hendricks is the name.
Well, my name's King. I'm writing up an article about the mines of Montana for the Miners' Times of Kansas City. Any objection to me sticking around a while and looking things over?
None at all, Mr. King. Just so long as you say something good about us in your article. You want me to show you around?
No, thanks. I'll just drift around and see what I can pick up.
Well, if anyone stops here, tell them I said it was okay.
Thanks, I will. Be seeing you. Now, to find the boss of the day shift and get some information on how this place operates.
These are the milk stamping machines, Mr. King. They crush the ore very fine, and it is sent through the battery boxes and carried over to plates.
I see.
The plates are coated with quicksilver or mercury, and the quicksilver picks up most of the gold and from the crushed ore. And this combination of quicksilver and gold we call amalgam.
And you scrape this amalgam off the plates and take it to the refinery?
Yes, Mr. King. The refinery separates the gold from the quicksilver and casts it into bars.
Very interesting. Well, thanks very much. I'll roam along and look the rest of the place over. See you later.
That's where you belong, you old hag. Down there where you plant your face in the dirt.
Just like you,
Stand back, you old Indian witch, and I'm going to finish the job right.
Put down that knife.
I had to drop it between your ribs.
Never mind, drop that knife, I said.
You're the fool. Knock me down, will you? I'll show you.
Hey, Ledyard, put up that gun.
But Nate, this bullet.
Put up the gun, I said.
What are you trying to do?
Well, I was trying to make Solander behave. This fellow interfered. It made me mad.
Solander, where is she?
She's right. Well, I'll be darned. She was to run away while me and him was arguing.
So you interfered, did you, mister?
Certainly I did.
You're King, the newspaper man, aren't you?
That's right. I'm here to...
I've been looking for you. I'm Crosby, mine superintendent. I'll give you just 15 minutes to get out of this camp.
So you're Nate Crosby.
I am, and I'm the boss here. And I say get out.
All right, Crosby. I'll get out. But I'll be back. I never leave a job unfinished.
All right, pick them up. You can carry them. I know they're heavy, but they have to have a solid lead lining so we can ship bodies in them. Put them in the old powder house and shut the door when you're through.
Okay, boss. Come on, fellas. Okay. All right, get it up there.
That does it. And we're going to have to move some of these empty powder kegs to make room for all 3 caskets. Jarvis, you stay here and pile them up out of the way. Rest of you get the other caskets.
Okay, boss.
All right, hop to it.
Hey, Scubby. Scubby. Is that you, Nick? Where are you?
Behind these kegs. Start piling them up. We can talk while you work.
Oh, sure, Nick. What happened, Nick? Why are you hiding in here?
Crosby ordered me to get out of camp immediately, but the assistant super suggested I hide here until he gets me a ride back to town. Seems he doesn't like Crosby any better than I do. What's with you?
Well, I got a job as crusherman on the night shift at the mill.
Hey, what are these boxes you're bringing in here?
Caskets. Crosby told the teamster the bodies of the 2 detectives who got killed were to be taken up and shipped to their friends.
Right. Here come the men with another box.
All right, well, let's get easy now. Nick, there were only 2 detectives who were killed. Who do you suppose the 3rd box is for?
For you, I imagine, Scubby.
What?
Remember, they think you're Nick Carter. I'm only Mr. King, newspaper reporter.
Well, I'll certainly see that casket stays empty.
Scubby, you know where the detectives are buried?
Well, the teamster told me that Crosby knows because he and a couple of the mill hands took the bodies away.
I see.
Scubby, I've got an idea. When the men bring in the other casket, you go out with them. Then make some excuse to come back in here again. Okay, Nick, I'll fix it. Quiet now. All right, fellas, right here. That's it. All right, that'll do it, I think. Okay. Oh, hey, boss. I must have dropped my knife inside the powder house. Do you mind if I get it?
Do what you want, so long as you're not late for your shift at the mill.
Okay, boss. I'll be there. All clear, Nick. They've gone. Now, what's your idea?
First, shut the door, Scubby.
Oh, sure, Nick.
Now, Scubby, I want to see what's in these caskets. Here, I've got a screwdriver and my knife.
Oh, so have I. Look, I'll help you.
Good. I'm glad they only used 4 screws to fasten these covers down. Makes it simpler.
But why do you want to see what's inside, Nick?
Got a hunch, that's all.
Yeah.
There, it's got it. You all ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get her up. Give me a hand.
Yeah.
Right. There. Uh-huh. My hunch is right, Scubby. The caskets are not lead-lined. The extra weight is due to this scrap iron in the bottom.
Like Crosby said, they had to have lead lining so they could be shipped with the bodies in them.
These caskets figure in this game more than just as caskets, Scubby.
Well, Crosby told the teamster to have a fresh team hitched to the large wagon for him at midnight tonight.
I thought so. Scubby, he's going to take these caskets somewhere tonight, and I want to know where.
Yeah, but how are you going to find out?
I'm going with him. Hidden in this casket. I'll get in it and you put the lid back on.
Oh, but Nick, you'll smother in there with the lid down.
Scubby, you can put 4 small pieces of wood under the coffin lid before you screw it down.
Oh, but Nick, I wish you would.
Now, hurry up.
All right.
Pretty good fit. All right. Now, hurry up.
Okay, Nick. Keep your head down while I put the lid on.
Okay. There we are. Have you learned anything yet, Scubby?
Well, the only place in the mill where the gold could be stolen is the room where the battery boxes and the plates are.
Hey, well, have you found out how they did it?
No, not yet. I hope to learn tonight when I'm on duty in the mill.
Good, Scubby. You take care of that end, and I'll watch this end.
Yeah.
Well, here's good luck to us both. I suspect we both may need it.
Well, How's the great Nick Carter doing tonight, Ledyard?
You mean Mr. Dave Jarvis?
Yeah.
He's doing swell. Look at him. He's taking another drink. He's been hitting the water bucket steady for the last half hour.
Is the loco working?
I'll say. The bees are in his bonnet already.
Good.
A famous Nick Carter will go the way the other two did.
Hey, what are you fellas doing dancing around like that? You can't fool me. There are a lot of billy goats. Oh, I'm thirsty. They gotta get me a drink. Keep your eye on him. If he starts fighting, lay him out with a crowbar. Don't take any chances.
Okay.
Say what I didn't like that. Did you see that? He's heading for the cliffs, just like the others. Solander's mixture hasn't failed yet.
What's next, Crosby?
Ledyard, get my team from the stable at midnight tonight and meet me at the old powder house. Now we can put Nick Carter's name on the third casket.
That's the last box, boss.
All right, Ledyard. You sit on the top box.
I know that, boys. That's Crosby. I'd like to see his face if he knew I was in this casket.
What did you take such wild broncos for, Super?
They're the only fresh team in the stable. They got a hard run tonight over rough country, where no truck could possibly go. All right, Sam. Let them go and then climb up here with me.
Here they go. Watch them. Okay.
Ouch! Oh! Wish they picked a better road to drive on.
Now that the loco is done for Carter, we can bring this business to a successful finish.
Oh. I hope we're not going far at this rate.
You mean we're going to quit?
We sure are. We'll market the stuff and make a clean getaway.
This is the roughest ride I've ever had.
Hey, you market the stuff.
Leave it to me. I'll see that each of you gets it.
Hey, stop them, boss. Stop them. Hold them in.
They're running away. One of the reins is broken.
Wait. I didn't count on this.
They're going to smash. Jump for your lives.
We got off just in time, boss.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that casket, Crosby. The one with the lid torn off.
Huh? Oh, that's the infernal reporter I ordered to get out of camp this afternoon.
What was he doing in that casket?
Never mind that now. Get him while he's only half conscious.
Come on, Sam. Now you...
Good work, boys. That fixes Mr. Reporter. Tie his hands and feet with that rope.
Okay, boy. He won't fight no more for a while now. Hey, look, Super. Here's a pair of handcuffs in his pocket and a couple of guns.
Hey, what kind of reporter are you? Going around with handcuffs and guns in your pocket.
You have to draw your own conclusions, Crosby.
I've drawn them already. You're here to help Nick Carter. But by this time, Carter's where neither you nor anyone else is going to help him. He's loco. Plumb loco.
You never can be sure about Carter, Crosby.
I can this time. And I can be sure of you, too. All right, put him back in the casket, boys. Put the cover on. Nail it down if you can't find the screws. Here's some nails.
Come on, you. In you go.
I got out the last time I was in here, Crosby. But you won't get out this time. Get the lid on, boys. That does it. That's swell. That's enough. He can't do anything with his hands tied. Ledyard, you and Sam get the shovels that were in the wagon and dig a nice, deep hole. We'll bury our reporter friend with our blessing.
Hey, who are you?
You
get 'em senses now. You see, you hear, you know what me say.
Yeah, I know.
Good. You eat better now.
Who are you?
Me, Zerlander. You save Zerlander life. Zerlander, your friend. You drink this. You feel eat better. Quick.
Thanks. No. Okay, tell me, how'd I get here?
Just before sun come up, me chase crazy man through woods. Then me hear gun shoot. See you run. You come, fall down by Zerlander, hurt in head. So me bring you here, Zerlander hut.
Well, certainly glad you were around, but I passed out.
Crosby, you enemy?
Certainly is now. You say you were chasing a crazy man?
Him drink loco, like 2 other men come before.
I wonder if that could have been Scubby. Crosby said he was loco. Zerlander, what did you want to find him for?
Me want save him life. Give medicine. Make him well.
But why did you want to save him?
Crosby give him loco, this man. Zerlander hate Crosby. Want save man. Crosby want kill.
Zerlander, listen. I think this crazy... No, Scubby! No, get that knife, Scubby! No, Scubby, no! Get that knife! No! I hate to have this to you, but it's the quickest way, so... No! Oh, there. Quick, Zerlander. Get me some rope. I'll tie his hands and feet while he's unconscious. Poor Scubby. Looks as if he'd been through the war.
You rope. You tie.
Thanks. Now.
Me get medicine. Make him all better from loco.
Thanks, Scubby. That should hold you now.
Here, medicine. Make him well. Give him drink.
Thanks. All right, Scubby, old boy. Come on, drink this. Come on, drink it. Come on.
Devils and blood.
Yeah, come on now. Come on. There you are. There. Come on. That's it. Now. Keep it up.
Now, him sleep little while. Be all right when him wake up.
That poor guy. I'll untie your arms anyway. Take this coat off you, and you'll be more comfortable. Hey, what's this? A long coil of wire with a lot of metal discs attached to it. What? That's the answer. Of course. The mystery of the Flying Duck Mine is a mystery no longer. Well, Scubby, you feeling better now that you've had some sleep?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Why?
You don't remember what happened to you yesterday morning?
Well, the last thing I recall is going to the water bucket and taking a long drink. Seemed as if the more I drank, the more I wanted.
Well, that water bucket was loaded with loco weed juice.
What?
Surprised you didn't notice it.
Oh, I'm surprised at myself now. But both the amalgamators, even Crosby himself, kept drinking. Or pretending to from that same bucket. Well, they certainly had me fooled.
Hey, look, Scubby. You remember seeing these discs strung on this coil of wire?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I recall seeing one of the amalgamators have it last night. Why, did I bring it here?
You did. And it breaks the case wide open.
Well, good for me, even if I didn't know it. Hey, tell me, Nick, what are those discs used for?
Here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Now, watch. Now, you see? This stuff I'm scraping off is amalgam, a mixture of quicksilver and gold. The men who worked in the battery boxes in the mill, the amalgamators, hung these discs and a lot more like them in the battery boxes right where they catch the best of the gold before it flowed over the other plates. They took out over half the gold that flowed into the boxes this way.
So that's where all those thousands of dollars worth of gold disappeared to.
Yes, Scubby. A very clever method of stealing the gold. Now, if we could only find out what Crosby and his gang do with the amalgam after they scrape it off their discs.
You want catch, Crosby?
I'll say we do if we... Hey, Nick, who is she?
Oh, that's Zolanda. She saved my life. Oh, and yours, too, incidentally.
Saved my life? How?
Well, that loco weed juice you drank is fatal. Well, Zolanda gave you an antidote for it.
Well, gosh, thanks, Zolanda. Gee, I'm sure much obliged.
Crosby try kill me. Me fix him. Zolanda know all about Crosby. You come with me.
Well, where are you taking us?
Crosby got cave inside mountain where he hide stuff. Come, me show you.
So this is where Crosby hides out, huh?
Yeah. Too bad there's no one here now.
But they've been here today. Look there, Scubby.
Well, that looks like the scrap iron we took out of the casket in the old powder house before you hid in it.
Right, Scubby. And this scrap iron was in the other 2 caskets.
So they brought them up here. I wonder why.
There's the answer. Over there in that corner. And the Sayers furnace. And it's still warm, Scubby.
Now, we must have scared them off where we came up.
Wait. Let me take the cover off this retort. There.
Nick, is that gold in there?
That's just what it is. Part of the gold stolen from the mine. This is where the gang refined the amalgam they scraped off their discs. It's much easier to handle gold this way because it weighs so much less. Now, since we know from what Dalrymple said that they never disposed of any of the stolen gold, they must have 800 or 900 pounds of it by now.
Hey, maybe they've got it hidden around here somewhere.
They did have, Scubby. But not now.
Well, what makes you think so, Nick?
Here. Take a look outside there. They've been digging there very recently.
Oh, but of course, Nick, they had to dig up the bodies of the 2 detectives to ship them back home.
No, Scubby. The way it looks to me is this. After I got away from them last night, Crosby and his men took up the casket they tried to bury me in and
tried to bury you in? Hey, you didn't tell me about
I'll ask
that.
about it later, Scubby. Right now I'm interested in what happened here. They brought the 3 caskets up here early this morning, loaded them up.
How could they load 3 of them? They only had 2 bodies.
No, Scubby. 3 caskets were loaded up. Don't you understand yet?
No, Nick, I'm afraid I don't. How could they be
Scubby,
loading...
How good are you at riding a horse?
Riding a horse?
Yeah.
Well, I used to ride years ago. Why?
Good. Zalanda, can you get us a couple of good fast horses right away?
For you, Nick. Get 2 good horses, quick.
Good. Come on, Scubby. Let's get the horses and ride to the railroad station before the eastbound train gets in.
But, Nick, what's all the hurry?
Well, unless I'm wrong, Scubby, these 3 caskets are going east on the next train. We've got to get there in time to stop them.
Oh, even Crosby himself wouldn't recognize us, these Indian costumes Yolanda let us.
Well, we may need to be disguised before we get through.
Hey, you didn't finish telling me how you got away from Crosby and his gang when they started to bury you alive. What did happen, Nick?
Well, they dug the hole, and they put the casket down in it. I tried to pry the lid loose, but my hands were tied behind me. I worked on them, and just as they started throwing the dirt back on top of the casket, I finally got my hands free and untied my feet. Just then, I heard shooting and some female screaming.
A female? Out there in the wilds?
Yeah. It was Zolanda, I found out later. Well, I managed to loosen the cover and push it up enough to see that Crosby and the men were watching something across the clearing. So I seized my chance and climbed carefully out of the hole on the opposite side. I started to run, but they saw me and started shooting. Fortunately, though, they were bad shots, and I was almost free when a bullet grazed my head. Must have stunned me, because I remember nothing more till I woke up in Zolanda's hut this morning.
Well, do you know what it was that distracted the men's attention?
Well, Zolanda told me that you were chasing her, trying to shoot her. She was screaming. You chased her around the other side of the clearing, and then went off after something else. It was just about then that you saw me running toward her. When Crosby saw me drop, he gave up the chase. Zolanda waited until they went back and then dragged me to her hut.
Gosh, Nick, we owe a lot to Zolanda.
Right, Scubby. And the best way we can pay that debt is to see that Crosby and his murdering pals end up where they belong, behind bars or in the electric chair.
You understand, Patsy?
Of course, Nick. You want the police chief to meet you at the station in 10 minutes, and you want Mr. Dalrymple and the president and treasurer of the mine to meet you in the chief's office in an hour.
That's right. I'll be sure you get them all.
Don't worry, I'll take care of it.
These are the ones, Nick. These 3 here on the baggage truck.
Did you notice the names on them, Scubby?
Yeah. Joe Briley, Phil Kessler. Oh, and look, Nick Carter.
I'd rather be out here dressed as an Indian than in there dressed as a corpse.
One side, they'll rain in the face. We got to get these caskets into the baggage car.
Oh, just a minute. You see this badge? Special agent.
So what? What do you want me to do?
Just leave these caskets in the baggage truck for now.
But they're supposed to go on
They're
this...
staying here, quiet.
Hey, look here, baggage master. Get these boxes on the train and be quick about it.
No be in hurry, mister.
Why, you Indian meddler, what the deuce are you...
You look behind you.
What do you mean?
Take your hat off, Scubby.
Sure, Nick. There you are, Mr. Crosby.
Dave Jarvis.
Why, you... Don't try to start anything, Crosby. I've got my gun on you.
Hey, where's he getting these boxes off?
There you men, officer. These three right here.
Get your hands up, all of you, and fast.
Hey,
you
devil, you
What is it?
Quiet, all of you. You three men are under arrest. Charged with robbing the Flying Duck's mine and with the murder of Detectives Riley and Kessler.
They're all here, Nick.
Thanks, Bessie. Now, Mr. Dalrymple, I asked you and the officials at the Flying Duck mine to meet me here in the office of the chief of police because I want to show you what's in the casket that Crosby was taking back east with him. Now, the first casket is supposed to contain the body of Phil Kessler. All right, Scubby, open it.
Sure, Nick.
Gold. Gold bullion? Yes, Chief. In these three caskets, you'll find the entire amount of gold stolen from the mine. Stolen by Dalrymple, the mine manager, Crosby, the mine super, and 4 of the workmen who worked in the amalgam room of the mill. They stole the amalgam, refined it in their own furnace, and buried it in 2 holes in the ground, which was supposed to be the graves of the 2 dead detectives.
Mr. Carter, that much gold would make the caskets pretty heavy. Wouldn't that extra weight be noticed?
No, Chief. Because when you ship a body by train, the casket has to be lead-lined and hermetically sealed. That means it weighs much more than the usual casket. Crosby, Ledyard, and Perkins were each going to take one of the caskets east with them as a personal baggage, which would prevent anybody from examining them too closely. One of the cleverest schemes I've seen in a long time.
But it wasn't clever enough. Not with Nick on the job. You have to get up early in the morning to beat Nick.
This was another strange experience of Nick Carter, Master Detective, called The Flying Duck Murders or Nick Carter and the Gold Thieves. Another of the curious adventures of Nick Carter, which are brought to you regularly at the same time by WOR Mutual. And now, Nick, we want to hear a little about next week's mystery.
Well, it all started when we heard that ship screaming.
Now, Nick, you know as well as I do that a ship doesn't scream.
Well, this one did. I was there and I heard it screaming myself. It was one of the most dreadful sounds I've ever listened to.
Yes, but that was after the 7th murder.
7 murders?
Mm-hmm.
Did you find out who was doing that wholesale slaughter?
Well, of course he did. But not before 2 other construction workers were killed.
Yes, there were 9 murders in all. Murders of the most fiendish sort. Those are just a few of the things we'll explain to you next week.
So long, folks.
So long. And so long to you, Nick and Patsy. In the strange adventure you've just heard, Nick Carter was impersonated by Lon Clark, Patsy by Helen Choate, and Scubby by John Kane. Original music was played by Lew White. The program was written and directed by Jock McGregor. Next week at the same time, listen to another curious experience of Nick Carter entitled
The Screaming Ship, or Nick Carter and the Flying Fits.
This story is a copyrighted feature of Street and Smith Publications, Incorporated. The Return of Nick Carter is produced in the studios of WOR and is broadcast over most of these stations every Monday evening at 9:30 Eastern Wartime. This is Mutual.
This is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. You know, stories start many different ways, but this one began modestly enough with a 0 on a typewriter. That's right, cipher, naught, nothing. But to one man of Chicago's 4 million, that 0 meant death.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Rudy Stone.
is a funny kind of a job. When that evening sun goes down, I start walking through the dark city, peering into bleak alleys, wandering through the bright neon, listening to the sounds of a city at night, the whisper of footsteps, the shattering roar of an L train, the sob of an ambulance siren. I wander up the boulevards, down the back streets, searching for something in the dark city. And what exactly is it that I seek? Brother, it's something more elusive than the farthest star. I seek the city's heart. Tonight I must have walked for miles. The cold wind off Lake Michigan ad-libbing with my ribs and the hot breath of my deadline biting into my neck. Then ahead of me I saw that friendly oasis in the darkness, Benny's all-night beanery, otherwise known as Tomaine Junction. Throwing caution to the winds, I started through the door for a cup of coffee.
Operator, answer me.
Nobody around but Benny polishing the counter,
Operator,
and this little blonde yapping excitedly into the wall phone near the door.
Please hurry.
Such devotion, somebody should get that excited over me.
Hello, Mrs. Warren. Yes, we were disconnected. Has he come home yet, Mrs. Warren?
How are you, Benny? How's the bicarbonate king?
Oh, hiya, Randy. You always say that, but you keep coming back.
Gluttons of punishment.
Well, you've got to find him. You've just got to.
Get her.
What's with her, Benny?
No, 25 calls she makes like that. 25 times she gets the same answer. 25 times she comes over to get more nickels.
Business is good, huh?
Yeah, a hole in the head. What's in it for me making change all night?
Change. Please, Nichols.
Lady, sooner or later I gotta run out. This is it.
I gotta have some.
I don't make them here, lady. Now, will you
then
please...
change. Quarters, dimes.
Let me take a look, see if I have any.
Oh, yes, please do. But hurry. Please hurry. I gotta reach him.
Randy, make with the catch. He's passing out.
Oh, easy, lady, easy.
Out cold.
Coffee, Benny, quick. There's one thing I'll say. If Gabriel's trumpet doesn't succeed in waking the dead, all they've got to do is send for some of Benny's coffee. After I got a couple of sips down the girl's throat, she started coming out of it. Tears rolling down her face, her whole body trembling with sobs. Oh, come on now. Now stop it, honey. Stop it.
What happened to me?
You passed out, but good.
What time is it?
Oh, it's 9:45.
I've got to find him. I've just got to.
Oh, now, take it easy. You're still shaky. Now, come on. Have a few more sips of this so-called coffee.
Oh, no.
Well, if you think Benny's coffee is bad, you ought to try his hamburgers.
I've just got to find him.
Who have you got to find?
The man.
What man?
The man I killed.
Ask a foolish question, you get a foolish answer. Only before I could ask any more questions, a little lady was on her way out of the place. I looked at Benny just to make sure he'd heard the same thing I had. He'd heard. His mouth was hanging open like somebody had taken out the hinges. I left the beanery and started after the girl. First, I thought I'd lost her. Then I saw her sagging against the side of a building under the elevator tracks on Dearborn Street. She saw me coming. Oh, I'm just an old busybody.
I don't know what to do. I'm going crazy. I should call Mrs. Warren again. Maybe he came home.
Who?
That man.
The man you killed, huh? Well, that makes sense. Now, listen,
Oh,
lady.
you don't understand. You just don't understand.
This you can be sure of.
I've got to find him. I've just got to.
You've killed him, but you've got to find him. Yeah.
I must go. Please let me go.
I'm not holding you, kid.
I don't know where to turn.
You don't want to go anyplace, do you? You want help? All right, here it is.
I don't know you.
My name is Stone. Now that we're formally introduced.
The newspaper columnist?
Well, man's got to eat.
Oh, maybe you can help. Maybe you can, Mr. Stone.
Yeah, but first I got to know why you keep calling the home of the man you killed to see if he's gotten in yet. This is slightly confusing.
All right, I'll tell you. My name's Ruth Baker. I'm receptionist and secretary for Dr. Stanley Loring.
The specialist?
Yes.
Go ahead.
There was a man, Philip Warren. A week ago, he saw Dr. Loring for an examination. Today, this afternoon, he came back for the report. I was in the outer office when Mr. Warren left the consultation room. He looked strange. Strange and frightened.
Will you give me a cigarette, Miss Baker?
Oh, certainly, Mr. Warren. Here. There's a lighter on the table.
Never mind. I don't want a cigarette.
Is there
Is there anything wrong?
Hey, what time have you got?
3:15.
You're a minute slow.
All that?
But a minute is important. Very important.
If you're going to catch a train.
No, it's always important.
Well, yes, I suppose it is.
Oh, yes. You know, I've lived all my life that way. Paying attention to time. Being punctual. My wife considers it a nuisance. Do you?
Oh, I'm afraid I hadn't thought
You should. Everyone should. Time. If you thought how many different ways one tells time. It can whisper in an hourglass. Or tinkle in the tiny little clock. Or it can roar. Or...
Yes?
All my life it's been important to me. Now he won't tell me when. All he says is sometime. That's not fair, Miss Baker. It's not right.
Oh, look, Mr. Warren, perhaps you'd better lie down.
Oh, no. I've got several things to do. Many things, in fact.
I see.
You don't. But that doesn't matter at all. You know, in my office I can hear the chimes of the clock in the tower above me. I've always listened to them. I like them because time is important. But I never heard them chime midnight.
Midnight?
I guess midnight is a special time. It's either tomorrow or today. It's in between. Tells a man that the day is over. Another one's going to begin. It's like standing on the edge. Goodbye, Miss Baker. Goodbye, Miss Baker.
Yes, Doctor?
Miss Baker, will you come in, please?
Right away.
Warren gone, Miss Baker?
Yes, he just left, Dr. Loring.
Yeah, that was certainly unexpected. I was almost certain it wasn't that serious. Well, put his examination report back, will you?
Yes, sir.
The closed file, Miss Baker.
The closed?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was it?
Any inoperable condition?
Oh, now I see.
See what, Miss Baker?
Why he acted so strangely.
Oh, don't worry. You'll go home, think about it. When the first shock wears off, you'll accept it. What else can you do? What else can anyone do?
After that, I went back to my desk, Mr. Stone. I was checking my files and...
Come on, Ruth, what?
I made a mistake. A horrible mistake.
What was it?
Well, when a patient comes in for examination, only Dr. Loring knows his name. The technical laboratory has only a number on a card. Mr. Warren's was 5129. I typed it wrong. I typed 5120.
The card number of another patient.
It was a mistake. I put Mr. Warren's name under the wrong laboratory number. The number of a man who is going to die.
Certainly Dr. Loring will be able to tell if Warren...
Well, just a routine checkup would indicate symptoms. It took actual laboratory work to make certain.
Oh, I see.
He'll kill himself. He's that kind of a man. And if he does, I've killed him, murdered him. And if... I don't want to live. I'll kill myself, too.
Oh, now, come on. Now, there's no time for that. Does Dr. Loring know?
I told him right away.
And he tried to reach Warren?
Oh, we've been trying since this afternoon.
At his home?
Everywhere. He must have gone home first because he left his wife a note.
Suicide note?
Yes.
Ruthie, come on, let's go.
Where?
Warren's home. And if he's not there, well, Chicago's a big city. It'll be tough finding one man among 4 million people. But we can try.
When I got home, Mr. Stone. I knew Philip went to see Dr. Loring, but I didn't know...
Just the note and nothing else, Mrs. Warren?
No, nothing.
You called the police right away?
Well, of course I did.
And you haven't left this apartment?
Not for a second.
Well, didn't he phone, try to get in touch with you at all?
No, Miss Baker, he did not. And if my husband isn't found before he killed himself, I'll see to it that
I didn't tell you it was a mistake. Anyone could make a mistake like that.
Mistake? To make a man believe he's going to die in horrible pain? No, that's no mistake. That's murder. The cruelest kind of murder.
Don't, please.
Get out of here and leave me alone.
Wait a minute, Mrs. Warren. Why crucify this kid because she made a mistake that could happen only once in a million years?
To my husband.
To anyone.
Oh, leave me alone.
You want to find him, don't you?
Well, now, what kind of a question is that?
A nice, reasonable question. You want to find him. All right, help us.
But what can we do? By midnight, he'll be dead. The note he left said so.
Someone's at the door.
It might be him.
I'll get it.
Mr.
Warren?
Warren? We know.
Paul.
Yes.
Paul, what did you find out?
Well, nothing. I checked every precinct station between here and the Oak Street beach.
Paul, this is Mr. Stone. And the girl who...
I see.
Paul is a friend of Philip's.
Yeah, there's nothing you said?
No one's seen him.
And no suicide report?
Not his.
It's 10 now. We've got 2 hours to find him.
You know, that bothers me. Why should he choose exactly 12 o'clock to die?
If you knew my husband, you'd understand why. The ticking of the clock was the most important thing in his life. You could set your watch by his schedule. Up at 7:30 in the morning. Never 7:28. Never 7:31, 7:30. Breakfast at 10 minutes to 8.
Irma, we haven't time to worry about Philip's idiosyncrasies right now. We've got to find him. As the young lady said, we've only got 2 hours.
Sorry.
Try to think the way he would. What does he do for those 2 hours? Where does he go? What does he want to see?
He's lived all his life doing things exactly the same way. That's all.
Well, that's something.
What are you getting at, Stone?
Well, I was just thinking. Nobody ever lets go of life without holding on to something else. Nobody knows whether you can take a memory with you or not. Maybe it's just a face, a melody, a favorite place. Nobody knows, but we like to think so.
Philip.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, that Philip would want to die exactly as he'd lived, knowing exactly when and where.
That's what I mean, Mrs. Warren.
What?
I want a list of every place your husband might go.
But...
Tell him, Irma.
Well, there are so many places.
100, 1,000. What's the difference? Write them down.
I'll go with you, Stone.
No, you stay here with Mrs. Warren. Somebody's got to be here if he shows up. And step on it with that list, Mrs. Warren. We've got a lot of places to cover by midnight. If we haven't found him, then we can cut our list down to one place. The county morgue.
Night Beat stars Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
Find one man out of 4 million people. Find one place out of 1,000 square miles of city and do it in 2 hours, 120 minutes. A long chance? Compared to our job, $1 on the Irish sweepstakes was money in the bank. We had 2 things in our favor. One, Mrs. Warren had called the police. 1,000 cops had Warren's description. 2, Warren himself. The way he lived was a clue to the way he might die. On time, punctual. But where? The first place on this list was a little restaurant where he sometimes ate. They knew him there, all right.
Mr. Warren? Yes, I know him.
Has he been in here tonight?
Tonight?
Yes, tonight.
I see you don't know Mr. Warren very well. Mr. Warren comes here on Tuesday evenings only. This is Monday.
Cross off one place. Go to the next. Yes, they knew Mr. Warren. No, he hasn't been in tonight. This is Monday. He comes here only on Fridays. Grab a cab and hurry on. Watching the minutes go by. Watching Ruthie die a minute at a time. Telling her no matter how bad we were doing, the cops would find him for sure. The cigar store, where he stopped for cigarettes, missed him by an hour. The newsreel theater. Sure, an old customer, but he comes on Wednesday for the new weekly show. Ruthie wanting to call Mrs. Warren again to see if the police had found him yet, but no time. 40 minutes gone, an hour lost, going down the list.
Hey, Ben, play the station. Get your husband.
Hey, kid.
Oh, paper, mister?
No, not right now. Listen to me. Every night a man stops by here. His name is Warren.
Oh, I know him. What about him?
Well, has he been here tonight?
Sure. Hey, what gives with that guy?
What do you mean?
Well, any other night he's by here 6 o'clock sharp. Tonight he comes past after 10. Buys a paper, a late edition. He's never done that before. In fact, I never seen him after 6.
Which way did he go? Did he say anything to you?
Nothing. All he does is buy the paper, walk away, and then he throws the paper away like he don't want it in the first place.
Which way did he go?
Straight up Michigan, and that way. You got to admit it's unusual.
Yes, I admit it. Thank you. Come on, cabby, move. So we went straight up Michigan Avenue that way. All we accomplished was to lose another 5 minutes of our time. And, brother, when it came to time, we were really scraping bottom. Those ever-loving cops were becoming more important by the second. One by one, we kept scratching names off the list. The cafeteria where he sometimes stopped for coffee, but not tonight. The drugstore where he stopped for stamps, but not tonight. Then the last place on the list, the very last. A little cocktail lounge on Michigan Avenue. One of those she joints where the lights are so soft and low you can't watch the bartender watering the booze. Our 2 hours were just about all used up.
Help you, sir?
Oh, pal, if you can. Nobody else can.
I beg your pardon?
I'm looking for a man named Philip Warren. Do you know him?
Oh, yeah, quite well. I consider Mr. Warren one of my special customers.
Is he here tonight?
Well, why do you ask?
We don't have time for anything but yes or no answers. Please, yes or no.
I really don't feel I'm at liberty to discuss with complete strangers.
Oh, Randy, it's not going to work. We're not going to find him.
Something wrong with Mr. Warren?
Well, to put it mildly, yes. Now, come on.
Well, if you'll tell me why you
Now,
want...
listen,
you
please.
see, it's not really proper to tell just anyone who happens to inquire.
Pal, unless we find him in the next 15 minutes, Warren is going to die.
You're joking.
Look at this girl here. If Warren dies, she'll... Never mind. Look at her face and tell me I'm joking.
Oh. All right. I didn't know. Mr. Warren's a good customer. You know, two strangers asking.
Was he in here, and how long ago?
Well, he came in a little while ago. I thought it was strange, you know, because he's late. It always comes in promptly at 5:35.
Never mind the details. How long ago?
About 10 minutes ago. He sat at the usual place, but then he didn't drink his sherry.
You know where he went?
No, I don't.
Did you see him go?
Oh, yeah, I saw him leave.
All right, now think. Has he ever said anything about going anywhere from here?
No. He was always very quiet. Oh, but I think his office is near here.
What makes you think that?
Well, he mentioned once he always leaves it at 5:30.
I see. Thank you. Where's the phone?
Near the entrance.
Come on, Ruth. Thank you.
What is it, Mr. Stone? What did you think of?
You got his home phone number?
Yeah, written down
Good.
here.
Thank you.
Why are you calling there?
I want to know where his office is.
But why?
All his life, punctual, methodical. Everything to him was a habit. Maybe it's a crazy hunch, but I could be right. He could have gone to his office.
Yes, you could be.
Come on. Answer.
They've got to be there. They said they'd stay.
They don't answer. Ruth, do you remember where his office is? Must be on your records.
I don't remember. Oh, but we can go and get it.
There's no time.
Try it again.
They're not there. I told them to stay there, the fools.
What?
The phone directory. Might have a business listing for him. Warren. Philip Warren.
Is it?
No, only his home phone, the number I just called.
Mr. Stone.
What?
If Mrs. Warren isn't home, she might have gone to the police. Maybe they found him.
That could be it. Keep your fingers crossed that they found him alive.
Snooping around this precinct for stories?
I've got one, Mac.
So?
Listen, I'm in a hurry. You've got to tell me something.
Why, sure, Randy. What?
There's a general call-out for a man named Philip Warren. Have you got anything on it?
I'll take a look. Warren? Philip Warren?
That's right. Oh, Mac, come on.
No, nothing here on that name, Randy.
Nothing. Mac, you're crazy. The call went out this afternoon. Every precinct has got it.
Well, this is one of them, but there ain't a thing here. Take a look for yourself. Here's the sheet.
No, I'll take your word for it, Mac. Listen, put out a call right away. He's got to be picked up.
He killed somebody?
He'll kill himself. You hear that, Mac? He'll kill himself if he's not found before midnight.
Before midnight? But that's just 15 minutes.
Yes, I know.
What did they say?
They didn't have a call for him.
That's crazy. They must have. Mrs. Warren called the police.
Yeah. Well, just a minute, Cabby. Look, Ruth. Let's figure it. At last cocktail lounge, the bartender said Warren came in every evening at 5:35, that he left his office at 5:30. That makes his office a 5-minute walk from the cocktail lounge.
And what he said to me, remember?
What?
He said he liked to sit in his office and listen to the chimes from the tower above his office.
Tower. 5 minutes from that cocktail lounge on Michigan Avenue.
Look up the avenue.
The Wrigley building. The clock in the Campanile Tower. Ruth, that's got to be it. We've got 10 minutes to get there and find the office. Cabby, Wrigley building, fast. The red in the traffic lights didn't mean a thing, but it still took us 3 minutes to get to the Wrigley building. When we got there, the hands of the clock in the Campanile Tower pointed to 7 of 12. And as we looked up, the larger hand crossed out another minute of Warren's life. One more went by before the night watchman heard me pounding at the doors. And then he opened them.
Hey, what's all the fuss?
Look, my name is Stone. Chicago Star.
Yeah, will that give me the right to pound on doors?
No, please, just listen. Does a man named Philip Warren have an office in this building?
No, he ain't got no office.
Are you sure?
Oh, of course I'm sure. Man named Warren works here.
Philip Warren?
Sure, works for Western Research.
Did he come in tonight?
Why?
Stop asking questions, please. We've got to find him or he'll be dead.
But he was all right when he walked in.
All right, take us up to him.
Hey, you got to sign the in and out sheet just like everybody else.
All right, we'll sign it. Just take us up.
Yeah, okay. Now, to use the freight elevator, the regular ones don't run at night, not this one.
I don't care which one we use. Just get us up to Warren. I stopped looking at my watch while that freight elevator droned its deadly way up to the floor where Warren had his office. And then at last, we were there.
Western Research Office is right down that way.
You'll call the police. Huh? Call the police. Tell them you're calling for me to get here as soon as they can.
Oh, sure, okay.
Thank you. Come on, Ruth.
There it is.
There's no light inside. It's open.
There's no one here.
Find the light switch.
Yeah. I can't.
All right, never mind. I'll light a match. What's the matter?
I thought I saw someone at the desk when you lighted that match.
All right. Follow me.
Look.
Mrs. Warren.
What are you doing here?
Well, I thought of the same thing you did, and I...
Herman, you still there?
Yes, Paul. Mr. Stone is here, too.
Stone?
Yes. Turn on the light, Paul.
Why wasn't the light on in the first place?
Well, we thought if Philip came here and saw a light, he wouldn't come in.
That's right, Stone. We called the police. They had nothing yet, so we came here. We thought that...
You called the police?
We just couldn't stay home and do nothing.
The police didn't tell you anything, huh?
No, everyone's looking for Philip.
I'll ask you nice, Paul. Where is he?
I don't understand.
Let's stop playing patty cake. Where is he?
I tell you, we don't know.
Oh, you do. Well, you're one of his best friends. Where is he? Come on, give.
Well, we don't know where he is. We came here for the same reason
You
you
never
did.
called the police about your husband like you said. You didn't want them to find him. You're insane, both of you.
Come on, poor boy. Tell me where he is.
I tell you, I don't know.
Now, let's try it again. Come on.
Stone, you're...
Never mind me. Let's stick to the subject of the moment. Where is he?
I told you.
Where is he? All very neat and clean, wasn't it? Let the old boy kill himself. Just don't do a thing about it.
Stop it, Stone, stop it.
You tell me when, Paul. How much insurance was he going to leave to your lady friend? You sure it isn't one of those non-cancelable policies, Paul? You know some of them don't pay off on suicide. Tell me where he is. Tell me.
Stop it. Stop it. He's on the tower.
He's on the top of the building. I saw him. He's going to jump.
Here's your boyfriend, Mrs. Warren. Catch. The tower, Ruth. Come on.
The elevator.
No time. Tower's only 2 flights up. Come on, I'll need you. It was 1 minute of 12 when we took the first step of the 2 flights. The run-up was like one of those dreams in which you stand aside and watch yourself. There was a queer, impersonal detachment about it that made the horror even more real. And then we were out on the roof.
You see him?
No, not yet.
What's that?
Where?
Look, on the tower.
Warren! Wait! Warren!
Yes, I'll wait. Guess it's not quite time. I've got to finish up staying.
You've got to listen to me. You're not going to die. Do you hear me?
He said I was, but he wouldn't say when. He wouldn't tell me when. But I know, I can tell you. It's not quite 12, but when it is.
Warren, look here. Ruth, make him listen to you.
Mr. Warren! Look at me! You know who I am?
Yes, I know. I know everybody in the world. And I can see everybody from here.
Please! The report was a mistake. You're not going to die, do you hear? It was a mistake. Please, listen to me.
You're right. You're all right. Everybody lied to me all my life. You want me to suffer. I can't. I tell you I can't. And I know when I'm going to die.
But you're not. It was a mistake. My mistake, not the doctor's. I swear. We're not lying to you. I swear it.
Randy, wait. Oh, mother in heaven.
Get your boys ready, Max.
They're all set. But him? What about him?
Keep talking, Ruth. He's watching you. Keep talking.
Mr. Warren, you're all right. Do you hear? You're not going to die.
He said I was. He told me.
It was a mistake.
Please don't lie to me, please.
It's the truth, Mr. Warren. You're not going to die. Do you believe it?
Thank heaven. Thank heaven.
You can get him now, Mac. He'll hold on until your boys reach him. So here I sit, trying to write my story for tonight. But I keep hitting that one key. 0. 0, cipher, naught, nothing. Oh, dear. Someday, a nice, peaceful story is going to be written about a flock of happy little birds leisurely circling a burned-out world, wondering whatever happened to all those crazy two-legged characters who spent their lives knocking each other's brains out. What a nice thing to read that'd be. Yeah, but wait a second. Who'd write it? All right, you broken down two-bit philosopher. The makeup editor's got to go home, too. So let's get going. Hello? Give me a rewrite.
This, I believe. Sir Alexander Carr Saunders has been the director of the London School of Economics since 1937. He is a biologist who has written a number of books mainly concerned with problems of eugenics and population trends. He is active in public works connected with the welfare and development of the British colonies and is the chairman of the Inter-University Council for Higher Education in the colonies. In 1949, a committee under his chairmanship, which included representatives of business, trade unions, the universities, and educational authorities, produced an important report about education for commerce and the professions. In 1951, he founded the British Sociological Society with the aim of coordinating individual social inquiries and promoting the systematic study of society. Here now is the creed of Sir Alexander Carr Saunders.
I have a profound, overmastering belief in the existence of God. This is my most fundamental belief in God. I don't find it very easy to explain why I hold this belief. The reason why I find it difficult is because I don't agree with the view which most people seem to hold about the way in which fundamental beliefs are reached. Most people appear to say that the only way by which we can arrive at beliefs about ultimate questions is by reasoning. That is, by our own unaided efforts, by noting things and events, by counting, measuring, and classifying them, and then by drawing conclusions. I do not think that this is a true account of experience. We can receive and absorb, as well as reason. We can, as it were, drink in music. We can absorb natural beauty, poetry, works of art, and as we absorb, we learn. I hold that we can learn by receiving as well as by working out things for ourselves. When I try and work out things for myself by reasoning only, I find that there is a lot which points to the existence of God but does not prove it. When I stop reasoning and let myself be just receptive, say, to natural beauty, I get an overwhelming impression of the presence of God. Natural beauty is, I believe, the revelation of God through his own creation. This happens when I let things sink into myself. God is revealing himself at all times. That is my belief. But to catch sight of anything, you must stop being busy and wait. If you want to hear, you must be silent. I believe the reason why so many people doubt the existence of God is that they are so busy trying to be self-sufficient that they give themselves no chance of observing his presence. I also believe that there has been one unique revelation of God to man, that God was in Christ, reconciling the world to himself. It is one thing to believe in God and another thing to pretend to know his purposes. I find myself surrounded by mystery. I believe that God is all-powerful, but I can only form vague guesses why he allows many things to happen. But this does not shake my belief in him at all. How could I expect to know more than I do? I do think I can see what he wants me to do in daily life, and what more do I need to know than that? My belief is founded on my experience. It is my experience that it is possible to learn by being passive and by receiving, as well as by being active and producing. There is a saying that only the silent hear, and I would add that only the silent can hear God.
That was Sir Alexander Carr Saunders, the director of the London School of Economics, who is a biologist and barrister.
Dick Powell, transcribed as Richard Diamond, private detective.
My name's Diamond. And like a lot of working people, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I get pretty anxious for 6 o'clock to roll around, especially if I haven't had a client for the last 3 days. But even if I don't expect anyone to drop in before 6, I can't take a chance, so I stare out of my office window on 53rd Street just to kill time. I see the night starting to muscle in on the Broadway bright lights, and I wonder just how many prospective clients are out in the city. Who's getting in trouble, what kind of trouble, and will they come to Richard Diamond for guidance? Now, take the two hard-looking thugs in the downtown hotel room as they watch a pretty blonde hurriedly get into a flashy mink coat. They're going to need plenty of guidance.
Where you going, Dottie?
I got an appointment.
Don't you think you ought to stick around just in case the contact comes in?
If it ain't here by now, it won't be in till tomorrow. Now stop looking like a couple of anxious bloodhounds. Relax.
Sure, Dottie, sure. But you really cannot blame us for being a little disquieted.
Don't she look classy, Al? Hey, who you going to roll tonight, doll-face?
Your grandmother. Oh, ain't she out of Alcatraz yet?
Hey, I don't like no cracks about my family.
Well, what are you going to do, Stan? People stop by the zoo every day.
Now, please, no legamity.
Yeah. You keep running off at the mouth like that, baby, you'll be spitting out all your teeth.
Yeah, well, when you kick off, Stan, don't try to sell your body to science. I'll never get both heads in that bottle.
Oh, you love...
Please.
I'm going to hit...
Please. Leave us, Dottie. And Stanley, you shut your big mouth before I shove my foot in it. Go on, Dottie. I think you had better make a hurried percolation.
What?
Beat it.
Oh, Al, why didn't you let me mess her up a little? She's always acting like she's got a family background.
I do not know whether her family had anything to do with it, but it is a very nice background to gaze at. Now shut your ugly face and let us start tailing her.
Tailing her?
What for? I think she is up to something.
Yeah, well, sure she is, but I don't want to get booked as a peeping Tom.
Stan, you are a melonhead. I think she is going to try a cross. Florida has never been before.
You think she's going to pick up the bundle and skip?
No. I just want to see what she does with her evenings.
Oh, well, I can tell you that.
Stanley, please. You arouse my irascibility.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aloysius.
Paper.
Evening, Glenda.
Oh, hello, Horace.
Times.
You look tired. Hard day at the office?
I stayed home. My wife's swell.
Here's the Times.
Thanks. Good night, Glenda.
Good night. Papers. Evening papers.
Have you got a late edition?
Why, yes, right here, dearie. You got it?
Yeah, it's in the purse.
Put it down on the counter and look through the paper.
Okay.
Paper. Evening paper. What do you want me to do with the purse?
Keep it till I meet you at the train.
Sure, honey. It's good to be working again, ain't it, Dottie?
I gotta go. They usually got a tail on me. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Relax. We're in the chips. Paper! Evening paper! Paper, sir?
No, but I will take that purse.
Purse? Oh, why, that nice young lady must have left it on the counter when she looked at the paper.
please, just extend your agent index and shove it over here.
Why, I can't do that. He belongs to that young lady.
Oh, look, it would make me very unhappy to have to shove all those nice old wrinkles around, but I am in need to possess one patent leather handbag. Now, if you will kindly move it to my approximate latitude, you old bat, we can dispense with all...
Why, you poor excuse for a lowbrow gunnip.
Madam.
For 2 cents, I'd wrap a lead sap across your flat head.
Well, hello, Glenda. Hello. How's business?
Oh, Officer Crine. Aren't you on a little late?
Yes, I've been changed to the 6 o'clock beat. Well, good evening, sir.
Yeah, lovely. Good evening, officer.
Say, haven't I seen you somewhere before?
Hardly. I reside in Flatbush. Well, thank you, Mother. I do not see anything I want. Goodbye.
He doesn't see anything he wants. What does he think you're running? A drugstore there?
Hey, Al, I saw a cop.
I am proud of you, Stanley.
Huh?
Now let us hurry around this corner.
What, you think Doc and the old dame are cooking up something together?
Stop here so we can watch the old dame. Stanley, to put it in your words, yeah, I think they are cooking up something.
Oh, you figure she slipped the old girl the numbers?
Your perception astounds even mine as to... Hey, observe.
Oh, yeah. Your grandma is taking off and leaving the cop behind to watch the papers.
She's going in that building. She has got the purse. Stanley, stay here and await my return.
Okay, but my feet are beginning to hurt.
Go in a drugstore, purchase some Blue Jays. I shall be right back with the purse.
Mr. Diamond.
Well, hello, Glenda. Come in, pull up a rocking chair. Well, that's the way it begins. Sometimes when you wait around until the last minute, you get a customer. I wasn't too happy about this one because I knew she didn't have enough money to hire a tramp to spot cigarette butts.
I haven't got much time. I've got Officer Quine watching my paper stand.
Officer Quine? You should be happy you aren't selling fruit. He's already got his thumbprint in every apple in Yonkers.
Mr. Diamond, I found this purse.
Found it, Glenda?
Oh, you know me, Mr. Diamond. I'm going straight now.
I remember a snake that said that once. He broke his back.
Honest, I haven't been doing that kind of business since I got out.
Well, what can I do for you, Glenda? I'm broke.
Oh, it's not a touch. I want you to find the owner of this purse and return it.
Why don't you give it to Officer Quine?
Well, there's no money in it. And with my record, he'd sure run me in for purse snatching.
No money, huh?
Oh, no. No, I didn't touch a thing. Just took a peek, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
A young girl left it on my counter. If you find her, you can ask her. I didn't touch a thing.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Diamond. Goodbye.
Keep your nose clean.
Oh, I will.
She'd keep her nose clean, all right. And a glass of gin. I'd known old Glenda ever since she started working bunco rackets and got put away for 2 to 5. I was sure she'd lifted the dough from the purse, but I opened it and went through it anyway. I was just kicking myself for telling her I'd try to dig up its owner when the door opened and an ugly-looking mug wearing alligator spats walked up to my desk.
You should be ashamed, looking in someone else's purse.
It's a bad habit, like not knocking on doors.
Oh, it said on the door to come in.
How long did you have to wait before someone came by to read it to you?
May I please have the purse?
Oh, is it yours?
Yes.
Well, I didn't notice the wedges. Give up high heels?
You are a very poor comic. Now, may I have the purse, or must I make you bleed?
Oh, it's like that. Well, sure, here it is.
Thank you.
And something to go with it. Oh. I caught him with one that made my arm feel good clear up to my shoulder. His eyes rolled back, and he went down faster than the celluloid collar on the flagpole. I looked at the black purse and started getting that lousy feeling again. I'd gotten into something, and it was beginning to smell already. So I called the 5th Precinct Police Station and an old friend, Lieutenant Levinson.
Homicide, Sergeant Otis.
Hello, Otis. Let me talk to the lieutenant.
Is this Diamond?
No, it's platoon number 3 of the Brownies, 300 strong. Now let me talk to the lieutenant.
Hey, what are you going to do with all those tired jokes when you run out?
Give them away to idiots. You want to start a collection?
Lieutenant Levinson.
Hello, Walt. Diamond.
Oh, wait a minute. Otis.
Yeah, Lieutenant.
Where'd you put the bicarbonate?
I'm drawn, Lieutenant.
Oh, hold it a minute, Rick. Get me some water, Otis.
Yeah, Lieutenant.
Go ahead, Rick. I can stand it for a second.
Well, if you didn't get so excited, you wouldn't have to take that stuff.
Here you are, Lieutenant.
Never need this stuff until you call. Now, who's dead?
Nobody, but there's a guy in my office lying on the floor.
He's dead. He's got to be.
No, he isn't, Walt. I just belted him in the mouth when he tried to get rough. Wait a minute. He's trying to wake up. Groan for the nice policeman. You hear him, Walt?
Okay, so some guy got tired and went to sleep on your floor. What do you want me for?
Hold it a second, Walt. He's getting a little too active.
What'd you do?
I kissed him good night.
What did you do that for?
Well, I've seen him somewhere. I think he's wanted.
Oh, well, hang on to him. I'll send the wagon down.
The door will be open. I'll fix it so he doesn't get away.
Wait a minute, Rick. Where are you going?
Well, about 5 minutes ago, an old dame hands me a black patent leather purse and asks me to find the owner. Right afterwards, this cultured gorilla wanders in and says the purse belongs to him.
Oh, what's in it?
Nothing much. A compact, book of matches, and a handkerchief. Smells nice.
No money?
No. Oh, I got to stop by Helen Ash's for a minute, and then I'm going to find out what makes this purse so valuable.
Say hello to Helen for me.
Sure thing. Bye, Walt.
Be a good boy. Goodbye.
I got a rope out of my desk that I hung my socks on when I had time to wash them, and tied the sleeping Garnet to a chair. I didn't know much about pocketbooks, but I knew someone who did, so I headed for 975 Park Avenue and a beautiful redhead named Helen Asher.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Diamond.
Good evening, Francis. Is Miss Asher in?
Yes, sir. She's in the study. Shall I announce you?
No, just dig up something that'll get me back on my feet. I'll let myself in.
Yes, sir. Mr. Diamond.
Yes, Francis?
If you'll pardon me for saying so, sir, I just love the way you talk.
Well, thank you, Francis. Eaton, 98. Majored in Sloyd.
Oh, my goodness, you're pulling my leg again.
Anyone home?
Rick, you got here.
Hi.
Hi. Well, since when did you start carrying a purse?
Like it? Matches my complexion.
You idiot.
Take a look.
Whose is it?
Got to find out. It's worth something. One guy already tried to get it the hard way. Cigarette?
Well, thanks. It's got some initials on it. D.K. There's nothing valuable in it.
I know. That's what I can't understand. Got a match?
Here's some in the purse.
Thanks. Here. Adams Hotel. Clubhouse with sheets.
Compact's never been used. My darling.
Well, thanks.
Oh, the perfume and the handkerchief, silly. It's my darling. Oh, don't look so hurt. So are you.
Well, come here.
Rick.
Here's your drink, Mr. Diamond. Oh, my goodness.
That's all right, Francis. I was just trying to convince your boss we should take in the wrestling matches.
Why, Francis, you're blushing.
Oh, pardon me. Miss Asher's residence? Yes, sir. One moment, sir. It's for you, Mr. Diamond.
No, thank you, Francis.
I'll see if the dinner is ready, Miss Helen.
Hello?
You get right down here.
What?
Lieutenant Levinson. Get down here to the station, Diamond. You're in trouble.
Diamond? Oh, wait a minute. Slow down.
Not dead, huh? My stomach starts getting back to normal, and you have to knock some guy off.
Knock some guy off?
I don't know why I should waste time with explanations. I ought to just send Otis over there with the wagon, but I like your girlfriend too much.
What are you babbling about?
I thought you said the guy in your office was still kicking.
What?
Yeah, somebody made a punch board out of his chest, and I like you for a suspect. Now get down here.
Wait a minute, Walt. Somebody shot him?
Yeah. If that wasn't what killed him, he died of fright when he saw the bullets coming. Now, I'm not talking anymore till you get here. Make it 10 minutes or I'll have a warrant out for you.
Oh, swell.
Rick, what's the matter?
Oh, that crazy Walt Levinson's got me in line for a murder rap. I got to go down and square myself.
Murder? Rick.
Yeah? I'll see you later, baby.
But, Rick...
I can't wait. I'll get back as soon as I can.
If we were married, this wouldn't happen. Rick, you forgot the purse. Francis? Francis!
Yes, Miss Asher?
Francis, Mr. Diamond forgot this purse. See if you can catch him. He's gone to Lieutenant Levinson's police station.
Yes, Miss, I'll do my best.
Rick just has got to stop this foolishness. Oh. How did you get in here? Who are you?
I come in a back way, lady. Where's the shaman?
You get out of here.
No, just relax, baby. One yell out of you and you get hurt pretty bad.
What?
Where's the shaman?
He went down to the police station.
Okay. Where's the purse? I saw him bring it in.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, baby. Or do I shake it out of you?
You stay away from me. You... Hood?
Hood? Where's the purse?
I told you I don't know. No, stay away.
Okay, but you're making it tough on yourself.
Stay away. You stay away from me.
With a red tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With a red tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour.
Pardon me, sir.
Yes, madam?
I believe you have my purse.
I beg your pardon, but this purse is the property of Mr. Diamond, private detective.
Yes, I know. I gave it to him to hold for me.
Well, I'm very sorry, madam, but you'll have to claim it from Mr. Diamond himself.
Oh, yeah? Help! Police!
Oh, madam.
Measure!
Madam.
Help! This man is trying to steal my purse.
Madam, let go of my coat.
This guy giving you trouble, Mother.
He's trying to steal my purse. Help!
Oh, he is, huh? Looks just the type. This'll learn you, Romeo.
Oh, my.
Done an old lady, will you? Come on, get up and fight it. Hey, lady! How do you like that? Didn't even say thanks.
I don't care what you say. You told me you had a guy in your office. When my men got there, they found him tied in the chair with 3 bullet holes in his chest.
He was making noises when I left.
Some guys do that when they get shot.
Oh, stop being an idiot. You know I didn't kill him.
Yeah, I know it, but what do I tell the commissioner? That I let you go because you're a friend of mine, used to be on the force?
No, but you don't have to act like I rubbed out the whole West Side.
Well, I'm mad. I want to retire in 5 years. I want to do it with a healthy stomach. Yeah?
Lieutenant, Murphy's got some guy out here he picked up for purse snatching. Says he's a friend of Diamond's and wants to see him.
Send him in. This can't get any screwier than it is already. I got a purse snatcher who says he knows you.
Purse snatcher? Francis.
Yes, Mr. Diamond. I don't feel so well.
That's all, Otis. Isn't he your girlfriend's butler?
Yeah. What happened, Francis?
Well, sir, I was bringing that purse down to you.
That's right. I left it at Helen's.
Yes, sir. Well, a little old lady approached me on the street and claimed it belonged to her.
What did she look like?
She had white hair, and she was wearing an old shawl. I think she'd been drinking gin, sir. Cheap gin.
Glenda Bergen? Is she the one who gave you the purse?
Yeah. And then what happened, Francis?
When I wouldn't give her the purse, she started yelling and called me a masher. And some enormous gentleman arrived and clouted me in the jaw. Oh, it was disgusting, sir.
And the old lady got the purse?
Yes, sir. She ran off, and the enormous gentleman sat on my chest until an officer came and carted me off to this place.
Was Miss Helen all right when you left her?
Why, yes, sir. You don't think...
I don't know. But if they knew I had the purse and spotted me going into Helen's...
Here, Rick, use his phone.
Thanks. Don't you see, Walt, this whole thing has something to do with that purse.
Schmurse. I've still got a stiff on my hands.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes?
Hello, honey. You all right?
Oh.
What's the matter?
Hi. Please come home.
What happened?
A man broke into the house looking for that old purse. I told him I didn't know where it was, and he started slapping me.
He did, huh?
Yes, and I need comforting.
Well, honey, I've still got something to do. Lock all the doors until Francis gets back, and I'll be over as soon as I can.
All right. Did you get the purse?
Francis will tell you all about it. Bye, baby.
Bye.
Rick, some louse shoved Helen around. Francis, get over there and take care of her. It's all right if he goes, isn't it, Walt?
I guess so. Otis, I'm releasing the guy that was picked up for purse snatching. And don't say, yeah, Lieutenant. Okay, Rick.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Step on it, Francis. Miss Asher needs someone to take care of her.
Yes, sir.
Walt, give me 2 hours to find out what this is all about.
Are you going after Glenda?
Yeah.
She's tied up with this killing. I'd better send some of the boys along.
Give me 2 hours alone. I want to find the guy who shoved Helen around.
Okay, Rick. 2 hours, and I put in a general alarm for you and the old dame. You know where she lives?
I got a shack over near the East River. Thanks, Walt.
Otis, let Diamond go and bring me a tablespoon of some water. And Otis, shut up.
I grabbed a cab, and 20 minutes later I was standing at the edge of the East River. The fog was rolling in, and pretty soon it'd be so thick you could put it in bales. Below me, next to the water, was a line of weather-beaten shacks, and one of them belonged to old Glenda.
You want something, Mac?
Huh? Oh, I didn't see you. Does old Glenda live in one of those shacks?
Yeah, that one. Got a match?
Oh, yeah. Here, keep 'em.
Thanks.
Forget it. No, wait a minute.
Huh?
Let me see those matches. I've forgotten all about them.
What's the matter? You collect them or something?
These I do. Sorry, pal. You'll have to get some others.
Okay, Sporty.
The inside of the shack looked like a hardware store after a good earthquake. Someone had torn it to pieces, and old Glenda had gotten the same treatment. She was lying on the wooden floor staring up at me. She couldn't close her eyes because a rope around her neck was squeezing them open.
Is she dead?
Huh?
I followed you down.
Well, hooray for you. The next time you sneak up on somebody, you're liable to end up with a skull fracture.
Just wanted to see what was going on. Is she dead?
Unless she can breathe through her feet. She's been strangled.
Gonna call the cops?
No. I thought I'd rub her wrists for a while. Now, here's a buck. Call Lieutenant Levinson at the 5th Precinct and tell him what's happened.
Sure. Got a nickel?
Yeah, here. And tell him I've gone over to the Adams Hotel on 28th Street. My name's Diamond.
Good for you.
Now step on it. He left in a hurry, and I reached in my pocket and took another look at the book of matches I'd gotten from the black handbag. They were from the Adams Hotel on 28th Street, so I went over there fast. The sleepy night clerk showed me the register, and I found what I was looking for. I remembered the initials on the handbag were D.K. A Dorothy King was registered in room 306. I went upstairs.
Yeah?
I got a message for you.
Look under the door.
I'm not that skinny.
What is it?
It's from Glenda.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, the door's open. All right, now shut it and come on in.
Huh? Oh, what a lovely gun.
Glad you like it. Now, what do you want?
I just left Glenda. She's dead.
What?
Yeah, strangled.
How'd you find me?
Matches in your purse. They were from this hotel. I checked the initials on the bag with the register. D.K., Dorothy King, room 306. Holmes would call it elementary.
You must be the shamus Brenda gave the bag to earlier this evening.
That's right. How did you know?
Well, she called me.
She tell you she got it back?
I feel a quiet streak coming on.
I usually like women who don't talk much, but right now you'd better start talking as fast as you can.
Funny thing, this gun I got makes me lazy. Now get out of here.
Baby, I got a big fat surprise for you.
Yeah?
Yeah. My gun makes bigger holes than yours.
Huh?
What do you think I'm doing with my right hand, keeping it warm?
Oh, don't give me that. You ain't got nothing but a big finger in that pocket. Oh!
Surprise. Next time I make it count.
Wait a minute.
Sure. Drop it. Now, that's better. Kick it over here.
All right. Please, I didn't kill Glenda.
Where's the purse?
I ain't got it on us.
Well, who has? Now, look, baby, I'm in a bad mood.
Honest, I don't know.
That's right. She don't, mister.
Stan.
Well, you certainly know some pretty ugly company, Dottie.
I don't know if I like that.
You don't? Maybe I can word it a little different.
Stan, he's a private cop. He come up here and tried to shove me around.
Well, you should have done it, Shamus. Would have saved me the trouble.
What do you mean, huh?
Why, you no good, cheap double-crosser. Al and me saw you slip the bag to that old dame, and Al got killed trying to get it from the Shamus.
I didn't kill Al.
No, the old dame did it. I went up to the office and found him dying. He told me she'd done it.
What are you going to do?
Well, the organization don't like being crossed. I got the purse from the old dame and paid her off for killing poor old Al. Now I gotta pay you off.
I got a surprise for you, too, Stanley.
Yeah. You try anything, you'll have more holes in you than a fishnet. He's got a gun in his pocket. Well, look at his pocket, wise guy.
Oh, gee, I wish Al was here. He'd know what to do.
Go on, shoot him. Shoot him. Stan's got it coming.
Looks like it's a tie. No sense in both of us getting killed.
Yeah, you plug me and I'll nail you before I go down.
Don't listen to him.
I think he's got a point.
What are you going to do?
That's up to him.
Well, as Al would say, a hurried departure is in order. I'll take care of you later, Dot.
What?
Goodbye, all. It's pretty good. Al would like that.
Don't let him get away. Stop him.
You stop him. All right, baby. Where's he going with that purse?
If I tell you, will you give me a chance to get out of town?
I can't do anything about that. When I leave, you're on your own. Technically, you haven't done anything the law could hold you for.
I haven't?
No, but that won't stop me from pushing you around. Now, let's have the story.
But Stan hasn't been there already. He's headed for a locker in the subway station at 34th Street.
What's in the locker?
$100,000 in counterfeit bills.
Oh, baby. Counterfeit. You have been naughty. Now, Papa will have to keep you on ice for the cops. Get in the closet.
Please give me a break.
Sorry, honey. Get in.
Ouch, you're hurting me. Please.
I went down to the night clerk and told him to tell Lieutenant Levinson when he got there about the blonde in the closet of room 306. The subway wasn't far, but Stanley had a head start and he was in a hurry. I ran the rest of the way. I went down the steps. The train was just pulling out when I spotted him. He'd just taken a bundle out of one of the lockers, and as he turned to go, I walked up behind him. Hello, Stanley.
What?
What you got in the box?
The Sharmas. Here, you take it. Oh.
He tossed the package in my face and started running for the exit. But a crowd of people blocked his way, and when he saw me come up with my gun, he changed his mind. He turned and vaulted the turnstile, and I ducked behind the row of lockers. He had a gun, too. I tried to get a clear shot at him, but there were too many people. And then the frightened little guy did a stupid thing. He jumped down on the tracks and started running up the tunnel.
Oh, look at that fool man. He's jumped down on the tracks.
Stanley, come back here. You can't get anywhere that way.
You said it, Mac. He's running uptown on the downtown side.
Here's the corny line. Stop or I'll shoot.
You won't get me.
Stand. Look out. There's a train coming. Look out.
No!
Oh, Mr. Diamond, come in.
Hello, Francis. Is Miss Asher all right?
She's better, sir. She's lying down in the study.
How's the jaw?
Oh, I feel better, sir. This ice bag is helping the swelling. I'll be in the pantry if you need me, sir.
I'll try not to. Hi.
Hi.
Well, poor baby.
Yes. Poor little baby.
You're lucky he didn't knock you out. Oh, I'll get it. Francis is nursing his face.
Asher residence?
Let me talk to Diamond if he's there.
He is.
Rick?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you listen to me. I've been chasing your conquests all over town. I end up down in the subway station and notice get stuck in the turnstile. Don't you think it'd be nice to let the police department in on something once in a while?
Oh, sure. Right now I'm at 975 Park Avenue nursing a beautiful redhead back to health. Oh, did you find the blonde in the closet?
Yeah, I got the whole story from her. You want to hear it?
I guessed most of it. She was fencing for a counterfeit ring as she tried to cross them. The key to the locker was in that purse.
Yeah, in the compact under the pancake makeup. She and old Glenda used to do a duet together before they both got sent up. When the blonde got out, she started working for a counterfeit mob. They'd stash the dough in different subway lockers around town and used her to make the contacts.
So she figured she could use the 100,000. Well, nothing like being in business for yourself.
She was afraid to pick it up herself, so she slipped the purse to Glenda like she'd just forgotten it.
Ricky.
Yes, dear?
Are you listening to me?
I just stopped. Bye, Walt.
What? Now, wait a minute.
What is it, baby?
I want some sympathy.
Sure. What would you like, lover?
Sing something.
Oh, come on, baby. We can do without that.
No, I want you to. I'm sick. An invalid should be pampered.
Oh, let me rub your head or something.
Afterwards. I want you to sing.
Oh, but it's late, baby.
Then sing softly. Sing me to sleep.
Oh, honey.
I'll get mad and you'll have to buy me a present.
Okay. Lullaby and good night with roses bedight.
That's wonderful.
With lilies bedecked.
Shut up! I'm trying to sleep.
Well, what is that?
Oh, it's that grouchy new neighbor.
Oh, it is, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you want something, bud?
Yeah, shut your big bazoo.
Oh, is that right? Out of your face with sunshine.
Oh, no!
Put on a great big smile. Make up your eyes with
Rick.
Yeah, okay. That guy gets shell-shocked if you fried potatoes.
Rick.
What is it, baby?
Come here.
Oh. You do need pampering.
You have just heard Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell. Helen was played by Virginia Gregg, Lieutenant Levinson by Ed Begley. Also in our cast were Wilms Herbert, Betty Lou Gerson, Jay Morgan, Jack Crucian, Hy Averback, Herb Butterfield, and Wally Mayer. Music was under the direction of David Baskerville. Richard Diamond is written by Blake Edwards and directed by William P. Rousseau. Now, this is Eddie King inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week, when we will again bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective. This program has come to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.